I was actually scratching a ticket. Take a walk out back?
Yeah.
I mean,
No, that's just I communicate with that.
it's not just ghosts. It's not just cryptozoology or aliens. It's all of it.
And what are we doing today, Matt?
Almost like Chewbacca. It's like, you guys want to do a little beatbox live? Hey, what's happening, everybody? Welcome to Banter with Richie B. I am fired up tonight, as I usually am fired up, and we all know that, right? Imagine that being this old and having this much energy still. That's crazy. Anyways, welcome to the show, man. Listen, I had to find out what the Vogels have been up to, right? We had an amazing show last week with Alex Petikoff, right? And I said, well, who better to follow Alex Petikoff up than the Vogels, man? Tons and tons and tons and tons of experience, man. And we're going to have a conversation tonight. I might pull up a picture or two. I don't know. You know, I want to go over some techniques, some ways of how they kind of do things, maybe some different materials or different, tools of the trade, so to speak, right? Right? Let's do that, right? And find out what's going on. You know, that's what I kind of want to do, you know. I have a lot I kind of want to say about that, and I want to listen also, you know, to a lot. So I'm pretty excited about that. So I have a guest co-host tonight for the first time ever on Banter with Richie B. While you're all still here, make sure you go over to my YouTube, like and subscribe. As I said on my Facebook, like and subscribe. Oh, hi. Oh, wow. I haven't seen Bree in a while. I haven't seen you in a while. How are you? Good to see you. We're gonna have some we're going to say hello on the side, but I think we're going to do some of that with our guests. I like doing that with the guests. It's kind of fun. We got a little bit of a crowded stage, but we can get up to 10, by the way. So don't be afraid to click a link and hang out, you know. Definitely ask some questions, kind of get things going, have some fun, you know what I mean? Oh, God. Oh, that's weird. Here's Courtney. Hey, look at everybody. There's Courtney on someone else's what happened, Courtney? What you using someone else's stuff for there, buddy? It's freaking awesome. So listen, let's get started. I'm going to bring up the co-host, and kind of get the show going, and we'll go over a couple, say hi to the side, and then we'll bring our guests in and we'll talk to the side. But yeah, we got Eric and Tim Vogel, man. Oh, look at this guy. Oh, we got to get it. All right, Woj, you got to get in here. Wojo's my guest tonight as my guest co-host. And by the way, I have another brainstorm that I am going to have some guest co-hosts coming forward. I think it's a great idea. I think it gets people involved, man. It's unbelievable. Oh, Courtney. What are we going to do with Courtney? Woj, you there?
Yeah, but I'm just,
You could,
Courtney's awesome.
You could say hi to everybody. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Sorry. How's it going, guys? Welcome.
His first co-host gig, and he's like, Other than that, he doesn't shut up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. That's true.
Unbelievable, right? So let's go down the side here. Hey, what's up, Andrew? How you doing, man? Vogel
hey, Andrew.
Brothers. That's for the Vogels right there, right? Check it out. I want to do that promo with them because they're going to be part of that.
Hi, Bree.
You know what I'm talking about with the part of the New Hampshire gig there?
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember Bree. We haven't seen her in a while, huh? So I think she was here last time was when your brother was on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty cool, man. Good to see you, Bree. But Courtney here. Please share and enjoy the show as I sit here in Facebook prison. Thank you. Oh, that's great. Good to hear that, Bree, that you're doing well. You know, it's funny when I used to come on here, I used to do like 10-minute bits in the beginning of my shows, you know what I mean? And I just be like, because I just get all fired up, like, hey, it's me. I got a toy in front of me. It's a microphone, as Sarah would say. She holds it like this. You know what I mean?
Hey, look who decided to show up.
Wait, I'm getting there. Don't even wait. What do you mean? Where'd it go? Oh, it's down further. I lost him. Dude, I had his, yeah, there it is. So that's his here. Hey, yeah, that guy, you remember him?
Yep, that's my brother Matt.
Hey, what's up, brother Matt? Good to see your face, kinda, sorta. We know you're there. Good to have you, my man. We miss you, no doubt. I know I do. And as we discussed, moving on from that. All right, Andrew. Andrew says hello to Wojo.
Andrew.
Yeah, it's that guy and that other guy, Wojo. Oh my God, she called me. She called me that guy.
That guy.
Yeah,
That crazy guy.
Hi, Mary Newberg.
Hi, Mary.
I love you. Love you, Mary. Look at Bree coming out swinging. I see you working, Bree. Let's see. Wait, did he jump pages again on me? He did. He's good at that, isn't he?
Yeah, he's fast.
Yeah, he's good. Jen Richardson. Excuse me. Whoa, Jen Richardson made me go hoarse. I was like,
Hi, Jen.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Let's see. Oh, wait. Oh, there's a joke in there. Yeah, see. You lost me already. No, you stay right where you are. He's trying to escape. Someone hold him. Hold him down. Let's see. Hey, Junior's here. What's up, Junior?
Junior.
Oh,
How you doing, brother?
Uh-oh. A bunch of jokers tonight. Yep. I guess so. I mean, my show's kind of loose like that anyways. We have a lot of fun like that. I think we have some serious talks, and other times we just kind of joke around and we banter. You know what I mean? That's why I named it that.
Keep it real.
Yeah, because I just like it fun. I love when it's serious, like when like Purple Blur and Claude, they're here and they got really serious questions, and it's so fun to break it all down, you know what I mean? But every once in a while I just kind of go off the rails. And I do not apologize for it. They did not adjust my meds properly. It's not my fault.
No.
Oh, it's so fun. So let's see. Sotan. Bree is trouble. Yeah, we are. Yeah, I already got that. I got that. There we go. There's Denise.
There she is. Denise.
Denise is coming up on April 2nd with Ernie as my guest. I am super pumped to have the Pax in his A. The Pax will be in the house, right? Is that amazing? What? Purple Blur.
There he is.
Yep.
Purple Blur.
Purple Blur's here. iPad for YouTube and iPhone. Look at this guy, man. Man, you are just on point, my man. When you starting up your podcast, Andrew, the world needs to see you. Woo! This is great. So listen, let's not leave them backstage anymore, right? I'm going to do some promos, but I want to bring up the Vogel brothers to hang with us and not just be like guests, but be part of the show. Like they're part of the Banter family. You know what I mean? Like we have a lot of. Wait, did you say? Oh my God!
It's a tough crowd. I tell you, keep it cool, will you?
Wow. All right. Well, I'm not going to get involved in that. I'll just keep clicking and showing the comments, Denise. If you want to invite him in the room and you guys do your thing, we're just got to click, clack, and you guys can do it. All right. That's awesome. No, I'm glad to have everybody here. I appreciate everybody's viewership. I appreciate everybody's participation. Come and go as you please. I don't get offended. It's perfectly fine. I do the same thing. I got like 83 kids, and sometimes I'll just play a show and I'll come back, catch it, and start laughing and joking about it and participate. You know what I mean? So there's only so much you can do, you know? So Andrew disagrees with you, Denise. You want to stop problems with him too while we're here? Let's just get after it. Come on, girl. So, hey, listen up. So after I'm done starting shit, let's bring the Vogel brothers on and say hello to the crowd, all right? Come on up. Hey, boys, what you doing?
What's going on, guys?
Are they muted?
Yeah, they're muted.
Oh, that was me. I thought, I did it. I did it. Well, maybe, I think Bobby Lee did it and then left.
The eclipse will happen now. Everything is upset.
Oh, that's right. We have an eclipse coming, right?
That's it.
Really? Is that tonight?
No, that's April 8th. Sooner or later.
Oh, okay, good. Do you think there's more activity? Do you think there's more activity with the moon?
I don't know.
Full moon, regular moon, half moon.
Most of the time we've had activity is when it's been raining.
Joe, I said this to you.
It was daylight and nighttime. So I don't know if day or night matters.
Saturday in the rain. We always now can a full moon do something? That's a possibility.
Seems like
Does it to me.
Other animals.
It does it to me, man. And you know what I noticed about this past full moon? Anybody on the side can comment about this, by the way. Hi, Lisa Contraband Phillips, by the way. Sorry, I think I saw you there and I didn't say hello. I thought I clicked on it, but everybody's saying welcome to the Vogel brothers. Thanks for being here, guys.
Hello.
I appreciate you guys a lot, and I respect all your knowledge, and it's just awesome having you all the time. And it's just Squatch talk. Squatch gotta take a shower somehow.
There you go.
I just said this to Wojo, right? I just said, dude, it was raining out. I said, let's go. I want to go out in the rain because I feel like they're like, it's raining. All those idiots are inside. Let's go, kids. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. There's some mentality. That's what I think. And that's what I said to him. I said, let's go check it out. And we didn't make it out. But anyways. Wait, what's this?
It's always good intentions. Yeah.
Courtney, did you escape prison?
I know. She was under an alias name.
Courtney's running from the law.
Yeah.
You can hide here.
Yeah, when you guys go out in the rain, I mean, do you guys like, pretty much wander around, or you guys just kind of like stay in place and see if anything's moving around? Or
We usually hike into one of the spots that we've already had something happen. I wouldn't say we hike in and we'll just sit there for a while. We don't bebop around. No.
Yeah, the longer you sit, the more you blend into the crowd,
Right.
the more, even in the rain, the little critters will come out or this or that. But you blend in. The more you're quiet and sit, you just kind of blend in, and all of a sudden things might overlook you, because you haven't moved, you haven't created a disturbance, you're not making noise, you just
You're part of the landscape now,
Yeah. And if you can hide it if you can hide it near, maybe you're sitting near a brook or something like that, you can get away with a casual sound or so. But
yeah, and that's something I always have, a battle within on. All right, so my area, I know my area well, and I've always gotten good results when I always walk out and kind of let my presence known. I've always done that, and I've always had like a knockback. You know what I mean? I've had that. I've had vocals. I've had a whoop back. You know what I mean? I've had that contact there. You know what I mean? And obviously, you can see sitting still for me is an issue. You know what I mean? But I kind of like it. But the reason why I say that is, I mean, it seems to be documented too. And before we get into all this too, I want to do the promos with you guys. But I want to say one thing. But it seems they're curious. I mean, isn't that something that's been talked about for centuries? Really, they're a curious type creature. You know what I mean? You think it could be a mix of both? Or do you think it depends on? Like for me, I know what I'm dealing with, and I know my experiences with them, and I know their behaviors. You know what I mean? So I don't mind sitting out there. I think it's a great idea to sit there and have a fire and just chill out for a couple hours. You know what I mean? I have no problem with that either. I can do that, But I don't know. Do you find yourselves? I mean, where you are seems a lot more squatchy as well, by the way. It seems like you get more of a population where I'm bottlenecked, so I deal with a particular 3. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
I mean, you feel that could be a difference in that, perhaps?
it's possible, I guess. I don't know. I don't think we have any more chances than anybody in the next. I think there's that few. I don't think there's very many.
We have a wider space.
They can hide
Right.
out here.
Yours is funneled, basically.
Right. Yeah, it is.
From
It's a
us.
funnel. Yeah. Well, that's
Right.
what we talk about a lot, that you guys have a vast area, so it must be totally different. Denise Pack says they've got a lot of activity, and they have a lot of great Bigfoot stuff down there in Kentucky, or over there in Kentucky, I guess. Yeah, down over here, yeah. She says she gets a lot of activity in the rain. Now, her and her husband Ernie are going to be on here on the 2nd. I don't know if you know the Packs, but they have a pretty good background as far as squatching and paranormal. They're all kinds of stuff they're into. But we're going to be talking some Bigfoot stuff come April 2nd, because I'm dying to hear about it. Now, I'm itching to get to Kentucky. That's one of my spots I want to get to.
Yeah.
That calls my. Do you have a place that calls your name that you haven't been to yet?
No, not well. Yeah, I want to go to. I want to go to Bob Gimlin's place there.
Beachfoot?
No.
Washington there.
Bluff Creek.
Yeah, Bluff Creek. That's
Bluff
one of the
Creek.
spots that we want to get out to.
Haven't been
Right,
out to Bluff Creek yet.
Yeah, no, that makes sense for you guys. I mean, you guys have been doing this a long time.
Clear
You've had
across.
how long you been doing this?
I would say since 2013.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So a
all
few
right.
years.
On a regular basis. Yeah.
Yeah, on a regular basis. Yeah, but
Right,
you've had
it's covered.
experience. But you had experiences when you were young, anyways. You
Oh,
talked
yes,
about
all the
that
way back to
last
76.
time you were right. But
Yeah.
that's what I'm getting at. So to go to Bluff Creek for you is like, oh my God, it's like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for guitarists.
Oh,
That's
absolutely.
yeah, I mean that's that's a big
Absolutely.
deal, I think,
Yeah.
But no, that's awesome. So Dale Quigley says, "Hello, my para brothers, Richie." Yes, everybody. In case you're wondering what, I have a co-host tonight for the first time ever. It is Wojo. So Wojo was my
His sweet
first.
name.
Yeah, he was my first Bigfoot with a fan, right? So I said, let's just make him my first guest co-host. So I want to have some other guest co-hosts because I want to be an interactive podcast. I don't want to just sit in a dim lighted room. Not that everybody does anything different, wrong. I just the way I want to do it. I'm bright, I'm loud, you know what I mean? I'm obnoxious, you know what I mean? I want people all around me. I want everybody talking. I want noise and I got 83 kids, man. There's a
There you
reason
go.
for that. That's by design. You know what I mean?
How many?
Oh,
I've seen where people come on and do like a round table. They'll have 4 or 5 people on here, and you get some really good,
Yeah.
East Coast, West Coast, South, and you were the one that was talking about sharing information, see
Yeah.
what works down
Yeah.
south.
Matter of fact,
all
Alex
that.
was just on one too.
So something like that might be, down the road for you.
no, I
just
think
something
it's
like
huge.
that.
I think it's huge. And I've been talking to a few people overseas in Europe and stuff about the different types of cryptids and stuff over there. And it's just a matter of working out the time difference. Like I know one would have to come on at midnight or, and I said, hey, if you can hang out,
Right.
what's midnight? No big deal, especially if it's paranormal. I can change the show for you. You know what I mean? I'll work with you. You know what I mean? No big deal. I can go on, a little bit earlier or something, whatever. But yeah, no, I that's the type I want to get into. I think networking is huge in anything you do. And by the way, I'm on the Get Haunted platform. All right, the Get Haunted network. All right, the P3. What are we calling that now? Tony, what do we call? What's the new name of the P3? The Get Haunted triple GH triple P. Some shit. Anyways, the Paranormal Podcast platform. No, but they're unbelievable. So my point is, they're a perfect example of networking. They've brought all these people together, and don't ask for nothing. They're not asking for nothing. You know what I mean? And everybody partakes and participates and helps each other out and lifts each other up. And it's an amazing theory. And yeah, Cody, something like that. Yeah. No, I know they just changed it up. I'm trying to catch up with it, but no, but it's a kick-ass idea, like we're talking about here. Like that's what I kind of wanted to do, and I think that's why I fit in with them so well. And so it was just like. It's brilliant to me, and I love talking to people, and I think networking is huge. That's what we're doing, right? Think about it. Jenny Davis in the house. Oh, look at this. Time out. Time out. I'm sorry. Time out. Wait. Where is he? Right here. Wojo, what's that?
Hey, Jay, what's going on, brother?
So I have another thing I'm doing called Skeptic, right? Sasquatching with a skeptic.
Yeah.
And this is my first victim right here.
Jay?
Jay is my first victim. Yep. Say hi, everybody. My first victim.
We'll give you one of these, Jay.
Sasquatch.
Good luck. Good luck, dude.
Throw some water. Yeah, you're gonna have a lot of fun out there, buddy. No, so but I think that's important as well, is to have the skepticism, have the other side, have them stare at something that I stared at, and convince me one thing, and see if it convinces them of the same. You know what I mean? I don't know, but
I agree. You have to have you have to have a skeptic. Not everything can be a Bigfoot or a paranormal, be a ghost. Something has to, you got to have somebody there that can say, hey, wait a minute, let's look at it from this angle,
Right.
Or you have to have the ability to at least be able to weed this stuff out, yourself.
Right.
To a certain degree. And then if you need help, you ask, and you'll get some pretty good answers, and you get some pretty far out answers.
I mean, if you've done it enough, you can weed out just about everything. If you've been out there enough, you can. Okay, so
and most people would they like to be asked. They like to think that they're valued. Their opinion is valued, and if you're taking the time to call or talk or send a text, that's cool.
Yeah.
Especially if we can give you
let them know somebody else out there is doing the same thing.
Yeah, and that's huge for me. That's I don't know. I think it is huge. I think like I said, I want to create that community here within my own podcast where we're all kind of wrapped around the same goals. You know what I mean? You can believe different things, but have the same destination, right?
Right.
So I think, Wojo came on, right? Wojo, you came on and you were a hunter and a skeptic in a sense where you're open-minded, right? I mean,
Right.
I'll let you speak for yourself, but how did you feel about that theory,
Well, yeah, I mean, I was just open-minded, but again, like, I don't know what I was getting myself into other than, seeing strange stuff. I mean, I am going to sit there and ask questions, which, I asked Richie, I go, this is not normal, is it? And we have that discussion. We have these opinions. That's what it's all about. And I'll tell you, it's funny because most of the time, like I would just say to Richie, hey, take a look. What do you see? I want to hear his perception before I even say anything because I don't like to give away my thoughts right away. So it's just having that discussion. And if we disagree, I mean, it's not like, we're going to like beat each other up in the woods, but it's just, that's why you have the discussions. You have your opinions. That's how you do your research. Start from the ground up and ask questions.
Exactly.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Well, check this out, guys. What's that? No, you first, sir.
Everybody could have a different. They're looking at the same thing, or they heard the same thing, but they have a different opinion about it.
Right.
And that's where the discussion comes in.
Exactly.
It's a good thing.
Yeah, we all agree that the sky's blue. That's crazy, right?
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah, I've seen it different colors back in the 80s.
It wasn't Bigfoot, but it was probably Bigfoot.
It was probably Bigfoot.
But it was.
It's always Bigfoot, right? So check this out, right? I'm gonna pull this up. So you guys recognize that, right?
Sure do. That's going to be a good time.
That's right. Oh, it's going to be a good time. So listen up, everybody. I've been talking about this for a while now, scouting for Bigfoot up at the Charming Fair Farm in Candia, New Hampshire, June 22nd and 23rd of 2024. It's coming up soon. And these two gentlemen right here, I get to hang with, man. I'm looking forward to like hanging out with you guys. You know what I mean? Because we're going to be there for 2 days. I'm going to have my podcast going. I'm going to be a presenter with my stuff. And then in the evening, like I said, I talked to Linda. You know Linda, right? You must have spoken to her. Somebody.
Oh, yes. Yep.
And I said, hey, Mike Trainer came up with this great idea about putting together an investigation at night. And I don't know if we're going to use the farm or not, but if we choose to, may we? And she says, let me check with the owner, blah, 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 make sure they're covered. She goes, yep, you can do that. We think that's a great idea. It's just that my husband and daughter is going to want to join you. So
bring them.
But you're talking the likes of Crystal. Crystal said that she would be in on something like that. Panac, I believe I'm saying that right. I got to ask her one of these days. Mike Trainer, Dave McCullough, the Vogel brothers, right? Banter with Richie B with the Wojo, right? Right. And then I'm now talking to Alex. I talked to Alex after the show last week, and he said one of those days he's showing up. He doesn't know which. So I was like, dude, try to make it Saturday. We'll all go out Bigfooting together. Like break up in 2 squads and just have at it. Just
that would be a great time. Good time.
Would that not be epic?
Absolutely.
Oh, for me, I'm like a kid because I just kind of came out of the Bigfoot closet not too long ago. You know what I mean? I'm just like, here I am. You know what I mean? Like all of a sudden, and I've been so blessed and so fortunate to hang out with so many kick-ass people like yourselves and knowledgeable. Tim knows. I sent you messages, right? Like you were talking about earlier. If I don't know something, I ask the question. I'll send it to guys like yourself. Like, hey, help me, man. I don't know what this is. And boom, like the porcupine thing. Porcupine. It was like instantaneous. And I went, oh my God, that's what that stuff I picked up was poop.
You guys should have seen him. He was all freaked out. So we get in my truck. I go, listen, I got some sanitizer. I thought he was going to shower himself with the two. I'm like, dude, seriously?
Good time.
Friggin' rookie.
He goes, I got poop on me.
Hey, but you know what? I asked the question. I gained the knowledge.
Yeah, you did.
That's what we're talking about, right?
You were on it like a hornet.
Look at hi, Sarah, by the way. Sarah's here, everybody. I watched an old Bigfoot movie a long time ago.
Hi, Sarah.
I also love I watched an old Bigfoot movie a long time ago, and I was scared shit, by the way. I thought it was a scary one where he was dragging people through the woods. I don't know which one that was. Was that Boggy Creek, maybe? I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you know what I'm talking about? Oh, and there's our producer. By the way,
Seen a
get well
couple.
soon. Everybody get well soon for Bobby Lee. She's not feeling well. She might have the vid.
Thank you for your service.
Yep, feel well soon. But anyways, in the meantime, runsignup.com/Bobby Lee, as she's going to be doing a 26.2 mile march with a 35-pound ruck on her back. So make sure you go there and sign up and donate what you can, okay? And
Good.
then there's this guy right here. Does that look familiar, everybody?
Yeah. Buy the merch.
That's tonight's co-host. Yeah, there he is. There he is. Wojo, what do you say?
What do I say? Buy the merch.
Buy the
Merch madness, boys. That's what it is. Merch madness.
Was that Purple Blur that said that originally? I keep
Yep.
forgetting.
I can't take that away. I don't own that, but Purple Blur.
Instead of March Madness, it's Merch Madness. I thought that was brilliant. My God, see, this is why I love these guests. I have everybody on the side are like my extra guests. You know what I mean? They're not even like people on the side. They're just like in there. You know what I mean? Oh, did you get yours? Oh, he got mine. Don't hurt me, Wojo.
Nice.
Don't hurt me. What?
Yeah, don't hurt. Did you get your hoodie? All right, did it come in yet? He ordered a kick-ass.
There he is. Purple Blur. Merch madness.
Well, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. Get down to crazy with Merch Madness. Back to you, Bob. Sorry. I had to do radio voice once to show.
So, hey, when you go up there to New Hampshire, are you camping?
Yes,
Are you camping?
I wasn't. Bob, it's still kind of up in the air. Well, we had settled plans, but a lot of things are transforming. So Bobby Lee has like a cottage like 30, 40 minutes from there. So I was going to bring all the troops up and stay at the cottage and then go over there and do my thing. You know what I'm saying? And whatever happens. You know what I'm saying? But if we're going to go out all night, I'll sleep wherever. I'm not scared. You know what I mean? Like, dude, I was homeless at 14. I was homeless at 14. I don't drink no more, but I used to have a bottle of Jim Beam in the sky, and I was Iron Ball Bill. You couldn't break me. You know what I'm saying? Nowadays, I'll probably get a little scuttled from a mouse. I'll be like, what's that? You know what I mean? Ain't no more booze to make you think you're cool, you know? But I probably, whatever happens in a sense. I know Trainer was talking about grabbing his truck and planting it somewhere basically and staying on site. I'm totally open to it. What are you guys doing? Are you camping?
Yeah, we're going to
camp it.
Right on the farm?
Yeah, I talked to her. She said we could.
That's kick ass, man.
She said,
That's kick ass. Is it you got a big tent? You got a big tent or two little tents?
I have a regular little backpacking tent.
Yeah, backpacking tents.
Backpacking tents? Do you guys want to get a big tent? You guys all want to get a big tent and cuddle up together?
No, that's all right. Thanks anyway. Appreciate it.
Yeah. 5 guys trying to fit in a sleeping bag. Yeah, that'll work. What are we doing? We're bonding. Bigfoot bonding.
The immediate reaction was priceless.
No. Good stuff.
I got my hyena laugh going. That was kick ass. So listen, guys. So all right. So Wojo, why don't you ask him directly now that we're here and we're going to talk about it for a little while? Like the technique theory about they were talking about sitting still and things like that, but there was other parts that you were talking about with me backstage before the show. Can you remember any of them? I can, if you can.
No, I mean, I was just pretty much saying, like, kind of like still hunting, just kind of like, what kind of tactics you guys use? Like, when you walk in the woods, I mean, obviously a lot of listening, a lot of looking around, but I mean, do you guys do like less whoops? I mean, do you guys do any whoops or rock clacking, any like wood knocking, or you just pretty much kind of like stay in one area for like a good 45 minutes and kind of move on, just kind of like covert, Did you know they're watching you?
Absolutely, they're watching.
If they're in the area,
Yeah.
you could be just sitting in the woods, enjoying a day in the woods, like most of the time. It doesn't really, because I don't believe they're out there every time. Right in, like not in my place. Otherwise, I'd probably notice them more. Would they be more aware? Yeah, they'd be more. They would know you were there. Whether you're sitting there like we do often. Different methods. We'll walk, like when we went up into in 22 when we had the juvenile experience.
Right.
With the juveniles, it was another rainy day. Actually, it rained quite a bit, and we had no real. We were going fishing, so we had no real. We weren't wearing our hacks or anything like that. We were going fishing, and so we're just kind of walking casualty. You walk a little, you stop. I use a turkey call, so if you're making noise and whatnot, you can do a couple of clucks or something with the turkey call, and it may sway another animal's opinion of what was out there, what's making the noise. You just cluck a couple turkey calls and you're done, and you keep moving.
Yeah, just kind of, you're trying to hide yourself,
Yeah. So
Yeah, because I was telling Richie, I mean, I have a deer caller, just to kind of like throw a few grunts and,
Yeah, you're just trying to make another noise, so
Right.
they know it's not you.
Mhm.
Yeah, just don't do it during deer season.
Yeah, exactly.
Bright orange.
I'm right
orange.
here.
Yeah, and turkey season. Don't walk around doing turkey noises during turkey season.
But I will sit there.
That can help.
Yeah, I got a
That
mouth,
could be a bad thing.
a regular mouth call. You put in your mouth, and you can walk and talk, and you just
Yeah.
keep it up in the roof of your mouth, and you just cluck a couple times, and turkeys are noisy going through the woods. Deer noisy.
big time.
Everything is noisy. That's
Yep.
why you're hearing them and freaking out when it's a mouse or a squirrel. Ooh,
Right.
and because it sounds loud or whatever. But if you cluck a couple of times, you may, it may change its attitude to say, oh, well, it was just a turkey. And, maybe the deer will continue to be casual because you're upwind of it and doesn't really wind you yet,
Right.
That's my
Yeah,
opportunity.
and you try to you just walk normal. You don't try to snap a stick, but you just walk normal, and you'll just blend right in.
Yeah.
To be like another animal out there, just kind of walking if they hear it, and you throw out a couple of clucks or whatever you've got. Sometimes I don't even do that. I'll spot and stalk. That's what I call it. Walk a little bit and stop.
Right.
Sit there for 10, 15 minutes, walk a little bit, do it that way.
Yeah.
To your area. And really, everybody interacts with their areas differently. Some
Right.
people just kind of walk through, and some people drive through. Some people place long-term monitors like trail cams and stuff like that. We use that. We use track traps. We use a variety of different things like that. But if we're walking in and we're going in for a night, and it's just going to be a couple of us, like when we go up to New Hampshire, it's going to be a one and done kind of a thing. We're going to be together for a few hours, and we're going to try to maximize
Right.
and try to get and elicit some sort of a response. So, going in and being quiet potentially might not be the answer. You're trying to elicit something in a new area that we really haven't been to. So you have to probe the area, knock on a tree, maybe a whoop. Don't go nuts with the stuff because it's probably not a prevalent sound.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not something you can't go in and make a bunch of noise because they're not making a bunch of noise.
Right. Exactly.
If you do one or two whoops, I think maybe that's what we do.
Yeah.
If at all.
Big knock, little knock.
We do a lot of listening.
Yeah, it's mostly listening.
A lot of listening because when you're out there, I mean, it is deathly quiet, so you can really hear the slightest snap.
Yeah, and you get the flare, and you can see, whatever's around you from potentially a Bigfoot but more realistically, you're going to see, like a possum or a mouse, maybe something like that. You could see an owl or a deer walking through. And it's kind of cool because now you got the flare and you're checking it out, and now you can actually see the deer in your flare working and it's walking, so your gear's working. And that's kind of cool because you get to see that. So you're kind of quality checking your
batteries on recorders, see if they work.
Going through different image resolutions, different colors, things like that will give you the best perspective or perception.
Sometimes the batteries work. Sometimes
yeah, batteries are a whole nother issue.
Yeah.
Richie does the whoop calling in the knocking. I just bring the Parabol because just have always have a set of ears, obviously, and
Yeah.
then we have encountered knocks, rock clacking, movement, more rock clacking. It's very effective to use. I mean, I love using the Parabol, but yeah,
I use a thing called Whisper. It's a game earpiece where you turn it on, and I mean it can pick up it can pick up a squirrel or a chipmunk about 50, 60 yards away.
yeah.
Wow. And it's
I mean,
called it's
yeah,
Whisper.
I think it's called the Whisper.
Mm.
I'd have to look. I got them at home. Yeah, they just fit
Yeah,
on
yeah.
it, man. You goes right through your Bluetooth.
Oh,
It's a great hunting earpiece.
Yeah, look into
And
that.
it's hands free.
That's my point. Yeah.
It's hands
No,
free, and it picks it. It can get pretty loud, so I'll have
no,
to.
I think that's great.
When I get home tonight, I'll look it up and I'll give you. I'll send you a text.
Yeah,
Thank you.
shoot a message. Yeah, no, absolutely. That's the stuff that we're talking about because a lot of people, have a lot of experience.
Yeah.
But sometimes when you're investigating, right? You kind of sometimes you can get caught in a certain way. So I've had experiences with, being myself, walking through the woods, working in my yard, making noise, music playing, stuff like that. And you can get caught in the thing thinking that that's the way it is. You know what I mean? So when I go to a place like you're saying in New Hampshire or even your place, just say that, to change that technique up because it just might not work there, what I've been doing and what I'm used to. So they didn't come to me when I was being quiet because there's very rare chances of you hearing me be quiet in the wild. Okay. it just doesn't happen. You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't. It's just the way it is. I've learned to live with it at 52 years. I'm okay with me. You know what I mean? But I have tried. We do a few things and then we do get quiet for a little bit. It's not for long periods of time, but we sat there for like 15 minutes and just haven't said nothing and just listened.
Right.
And then I've made a noise, and a lot of times after I make that noise, it's like that's when we got those bangs on the river. Remember, Woj?
Oh yeah.
And they're up on my YouTube, and it was like I just said something, and I laughed out loud with my big silly laugh, and it must have carried across the river, and that's when you heard bang, bang off a tree across the river, and I was like, "What the f- is that?"
Wow.
Like you hear it on my GoPro. I have it on my YouTube page. It's up to like almost 4,000 views at this point, but it's pretty crazy. You know what I mean? Yeah. Sarah's got a question actually.
For me being like an open-minded guy, I'll tell you, I had the chills. I was like, wow, that was loud.
Oh, that was abrupt. And then we heard the one clean knock up behind us. It was almost like they were like, "Hey, we're here, buddy." You know what I mean?
That's when you said we're being flanked, and I'm like, yeah, we are.
Just chill out. They won't hurt you. I mean, I've been flanked 3 times on my own, never mind with people. You know what I mean? So if they wanted to kill me, they sure as hell would have. You know what I mean? They had no problem doing it. Instead, they left me gifts on my gifting stump. So it worked out way better that way. That's all I'm going to say. I just lost a few cookies and got a piece of lichen back, but whatever. It was pretty cool. So do you know what states they are more likely to show up? Just curious. So I always believe in this for me, and I'm going to answer it and then have the Vogels if you don't mind. Hey, Danger, welcome to the show, brother. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for the support. You got to check out Danger's magazine, Ghosted magazine. It's pretty kick-ass. Did I say that right? I'm always saying things wrong. I'm Italian. You ever notice when you're Italian, you say things that never sounds right? Anybody else here Italian? Does that happen to you? I don't know what it is. I can say hello, and I'm like, how do you spell that? I don't know what it is. It's silly. You want to go Bigfoot? You come up here with me, man.
Don't drag all of us Italians down, Rich. Manja.
I always say things wrong. I always do. It's good because I got 83 kids. Because you got to remember when you got 83 kids, you're like Tommy, Joey, Susie, Stevie. Which one's that? Oh yeah, Brooks. Come here. You know what I mean? You just don't know. But the question here is, and it's one that gets asked a lot, is the states that they show up in. So I put it like this. It's the same thing. It depends how many investigators you got. Right. And it depends how many people are curious. Right. Of course, it depends on the terrain and it depends on the viability and all that stuff, food sources, water sources. Right. But you got to have the people out there in the woods that are actually doing it. So if you or not even just doing it, just being out in the woods hiking. Right. So you want to look up these places where there's more hikers. Right. Well, you're probably going to get more reports if there's more people to report it. That's just the way I look at it. I truly believe they're everywhere. I mean, I don't know about the Midwest Plains. You know what I mean? I have no idea about that, but I mean, I would think that would be less likely. But I think like the great Northeast, I think Maine, I think Northern New Hampshire. I think over where you guys are, upstate New York, way up there where there's no signal up in New York. I've been that place. That place is squatchy as hell. Canada's got some, those are the places to me. But if it has to have people out there. We're not talking about them walking out of the woods and coming down to the city and, playing the arcade. You know what I mean? It just doesn't, you have to be out where they are, generally speaking, percentage wise. Right. So, the reports that we get of them crossing the street. Well, guess what? That's because we're there. Otherwise, there's no report. I don't know. How do you guys feel about that state-wise? That's a question I get a lot. And, it's kind of a funny one in a sense,
Yeah, no, I agree with you on geographics, both coasts.
Yeah.
Not so much the Midwest,
Right.
just simply because of diet, and it may lack, it may not. I could be wrong, but it's probably a little bit less in the in the middle. Like Ohio,
I agree with
loaded. There's a lot of reports in Ohio. But then there's, you go out and you get the West Coast and you got Seattle, Oregon.
It's like you said, you have to be out there in order to report it.
Right.
It's hard to say. I'd be
Right.
speculating.
And how many see it and never say a word?
True.
Oh, hell yeah.
I mean,
Hell yeah.
those are the people.
Yeah. It took me 10 years just to tell you what I was dealing with. And I didn't see it. But it was hard for me to explain to people. I was a kid that lived on the streets at 14. I had a ghost walk up to me at 8 years old and say hi. Basically, she ended up being my grandmother, and I never even met the woman. And these things really happened to me, and I was afraid to come out and talk about this creature in my woods that was walking bipedal around, snapping trees, making grunt noises at me. Okay, and I couldn't see it.
Yeah.
All right, so it's not something you can just come out like you said. How many people come make that report? It took me 10 years. Yeah, I didn't want to come out and make that report.
I'm sure there's a group out there that's done a metric on it, and this state has this many. I know there's groups out there that do that. I guess we're just really we're interested in the whole ball of wax, everybody's report, but we're focused right now in the Northeast. I'd love to go out to Colorado, or I'd love to go out to, down into Texas or Alabama or but I'm up in the Northeast. And so, we're working here and we're working hard trying to get our name and number out so that people call us and give us the report. I'm not so much worried about what's going on in Georgia. I think it's great there's activity, but I want it in my backyard so I can go report it.
Yeah, to pick a state that would be hard to do.
Yeah,
I think
really
it's more or
would.
less an area that you would kind of, what I mean? Like, for instance, like Tim, if I may, what do you have? 1,300 acres wrapped around you that you basically patrol and keep an eye on, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
1,300 freaking acres, man.
That's huge.
Yeah, first of all, just with 1,300 acres, don't tell me something can't exist there. You know what I mean? Don't tell me every little thing that's walked through there, because you don't. They don't.
No.
You know what I
No,
mean?
we don't.
It drives me nuts when I hear this stuff. Oh yeah, they thought, what do you mean there's not a possibility? There's still shit showing up. Not too long ago, they discovered whatever it was they thought was dead for 100 years. Stop. But another great question.
Go ahead.
Okay. No, you can ask the question while I point. Yeah, go ahead. We're doing this together. You know what I mean? What are you going to say? And then we'll answer that question. It's loaded.
I don't know about that. Don't know. Don't know.
Couldn't tell you. That's Claude. Claude will come at you with that.
Big giants.
He will come at you with that shit. There is the Land of the Giants, all that stuff. I don't know if you ever read about it, know about it, but it is a cool concept with the Giants. I don't know if there's enough. I don't want to say science because I hate science, but science that could tie in a hybrid crossbreed, missing link type thing with the Giants. They have found the bones, all that stuff, but I don't know how much of it is categorized and all that. So you'd have to get into all that and then try to draw a link. So I think if Bigfoot's here, the Giants are over here. Do you know what I'm saying? Would you agree?
Yeah, I believe Bigfoot is its own creature. It's it's a Bigfoot. I don't think it's a half of this or a half of that. It's gifted to whatever abilities it has. It has, and it comes from time and generations and the way it's evolved over time. It doesn't need lots of things that we need, obviously, and it's been doing fine without us.
100%. I agree with that 100%. I think a lot of them are their own. I think we all crossed over somewhere at some point in a sense, but that is just a whole different discussion of evolution.
Right. Whether their own, whether their own is, the ability to morph into something or, cloak and do all these different weird things. I don't know, man. I've heard lots of reports and I've heard people talk genuinely about this stuff. And I'm like, what? And it's like, weird, it happened. It was right there in front of me. And it's, and I'm like, well, I saw it. Why? So I have to take it. At least at first, I have to at least listen to it, and then I have to filter it, and put some weight around it, and then determine what I want to do with it.
Right. And it does become like that. And if real quick, Purple Blur asked what their diet consists of. Anything, bro. I'm gonna go with anything. Okay, me, you, cats, dogs. I don't know. I mean, they're big dudes. They're big dudes. They probably eat berries. They probably eat leaves. Probably eat. I heard they suck the sap out of trees. Maybe that's a treat. I've seen some weird stuff over my house. That's really weird. Mojo, remember that? What you saw? Tell them what you saw that time.
Oh,
the trees pulled, the branches pulled straight out.
Yeah. Now what they do is like the pine trees. I mean, they pluck them right out. I mean, it's like from the knot, just pluck them right out from the side of the tree.
Yeah.
Pulling the branch out?
Like straight out from the tree.
Right up.
And it looks like a screw.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get the whole knot. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like they I mean, I would assume they suck the sap or something or the juices out of the water, basically, out of the branches. Wouldn't you think? Right? I mean, we saw a lot of that stuff.
I mean, we found like piles of chestnuts, pine cones, like eating left and right. I mean, it's.
I think it's everything.
All I know is nature provides it to all those animals out there. Nature provides. In the middle of summer, we have our white oaks, and they drop like rain in the middle of summer, and then we get our red oaks for deer season in the fall, and they drop. And then so you've got different harvests at different time of the years, and there's different crops at different times of the years, and these things know this, and they follow 100%. The crop, and they're going to milk that till they that crop is gone. They're going to continue on. They're going to turn around.
Well, me and Rich, we found a skeleton. I don't know if it's a deer skeleton or it looks like a goat skeleton. That was like it was like a branch, maybe like about 3 inches, and it was like perfectly placed on the tree.
Yeah,
that we found in the woods.
Like that? Yeah, that was weird. I
don't know. That's probably just somebody found a skull and stuck it on the wood.
I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, we don't know what we didn't know what to make. I'm like, let's just keep walking.
Yeah, sometimes it's just weird stuff. One time we were out in the middle of nowhere in New York, and I guess somebody else was there because they made this weird headdress, and it was a stump. It was like a piece of log that was cut, and it was hollowed out, and they put antlers on it, and they took a New York State trail marker and banged that in there. And there was a couple other oddities like a Gumby doll and some other weird stuff, and it was just laying there in the middle of the woods. It's just. Like we had the bushwhack. We were bushwhacking. We found this
in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. That's like golf balls we find in the middle of the woods.
Yeah, it was a tweaker.
Yeah.
Brian Throw would say that's a tweaker, man. Tweaker.
Just weird stuff.
No, you're right. There is a lot of weird stuff. But let's see here. A couple questions, so we don't. Let's see. Where'd it go? What's this jumping around for? Work with me. Work with me. There we go. Yeah, it's kind of freezing up. No. Technology. Has there ever been a Sasquatch sighting in Alaska? Oh, many, Mary.
Alex spent a whole bunch of time up in Alaska. I mean, I didn't see anything, but he'll tell you it's a squatchy place for sure.
Oh, that place is nuts, and that's why that's one of the reasons why we love Alex, right? Because he goes these places like, didn't find anything, but it sure was beautiful. You know what I mean? That's all.
Right. There's something to be said about character.
Huge, right?
Yeah.
I mean, right. So when he does come at you with something, you're like, oh. Yeah, that shit's real. You know what I mean? He gets it. You know.
Right.
Port Chatham. I love Port Chatham. You know what I mean? Port Chatham is an interesting story, right? With the cannery up there and how they all, they ended up going missing and things like that. Do you guys think something like Port Chatham would be associated with a Sasquatch being territorial?
I think maybe way back in the day, there could have been something like that where it could have retaliated against being hunted or something. Like a bear, if you went after a bear and wounded a bear, and bear would come back and attack potentially. Maybe there's something to that. I have a hard time
if they're territorial. Is that what you're doing?
or wiping out a whole cannery of people.
Yeah.
Well, so the whole island of Port
It's supposed
Chatham.
to be cursed or something.
Well, it was a village. It was a village.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
And people went missing, and they were going out hunting for food, and then all of a sudden the hunters wouldn't come back, and they'd find bodies like kind of ripped apart, and it was pretty scary. It scared the village people so much they closed down the cannery, and everybody left because they had no workers. Workers like, we're not coming back here, dude. That's a true documented story, and they don't know what did it.
You just do a document on that.
Yeah, they got
Didn't the younger ones finally grew up? Didn't they go back to that island?
Yeah,
And they did some ritual thing, and then it turned around and it destroyed whatever they built.
They built the shed, and then the shed was on fire because they said it's like demonic. Also,
Right.
It was a little.
The production part of it got a little weird, but the history part of it kind of stands true. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, I think it's a great topic, and it's something that I followed also. And then, like you're talking about that show there, I kind of was like, okay, I'll just look it up.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
What's it?
But
I'm like, wait a minute. Bigfoots carry lighters. I go, how do I? I mean, it's that
territorial. It's an animal. Why wouldn't it be territorial?
Right.
It's got things there to survive. It's going to be territorial.
And I'm sure.
And they're taking a boat to get there, right? So they're like, we got nowhere to go except get rid of you.
And there's probably bears on that island.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah, Tim, that's a great point. Bears as well, but
sure.
Yeah, I don't know the details of it. I mean, a bear attack as opposed to like a Sasquatch attack, or what do we know? You know what I mean? We can see clear signs of like bear stomping claws.
Yeah, they'd have to. You're right. There'd have to be forensics. You actually have to go into forensics and start looking at bone and teeth and markings, and
there's definitely some DNA.
Yeah, how about who was that dude that was the bear guy? He was up in there. He got killed with his girlfriend.
Yeah, I know.
Oh yeah,
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, he kept going back, and the rogue bears were coming out, and he was supposed to catch a plane and get out of there. And he said, "No, let's go back for one more day." And then he set up his tent right in a freaking bear path. He made all the mistakes he made, and then she was thumping him in the video that she's thumping him with an iron pan, and he's like, "Run! What are you doing?" And he's getting eaten alive. Oh yeah, they found his wrist with his watch still on it. It was great. I mean,
videotaped his own death.
What are you doing, bro? What are you doing? You knew you weren't supposed to be there. But my point is, like, that's a bear attack. They can almost tell that messiness of it. You know what I mean? I think Sasquatch is so used to taking things away, right? There's the old story about the guy in the sleeping bag he carried away.
Yeah.
There's sightings of him having like food or something and walking away.
What I mean?
Yeah, there's a theory of him having an ambush hut and breaking legs off a deer and picking it up and walking away, as opposed to where a bear is like, rah, 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 you know what I mean? I don't know. I think, like you said, there have to be forensics in the long run in order to be scientific and make it significant. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
I
mean, if these things are elusive, why would they, unless it was curiosity coming in, although, I've dealt with bobcats and things that are old and have no more teeth and they're hungry and they'll hang around dumps and, trash, and you get a call and you have to go and take care of, a wore out bobcat, So, an aged or an ailing Bigfoot would definitely take advantage of something that was of easy pickings, but then, so it could be anything like that, but me, I think that they have more of a bark bud, trees, tree bark buds, things like that, grasses, more of that kind of a diet, more just more vegetarian, that kind of a diet. I don't think it's running around chasing squirrels and,
I don't think
if
it
it happens
I
upon
think
a
it does the
carcass,
same thing as any other animal does, a bear or any of them.
if
I
it-
think it'll eat whatever it can get its hands on.
Opportunistic.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. I don't.
if it
do you
has the
think-
ability to throw rocks or a spear,
Right.
that's almost, man-like behaviors.
Right.
Could they do that? I don't know. Probably, maybe. I know that we've been in Connecticut and had rocks thrown at us. Yeah,
Right.
would they take a sharpened stick potentially and throw it at us?
Even a
That
rock,
gives
you
them-
take a rock, I mean, the one that they threw at us was the size of a handle pinball. So imagine
Sure.
hitting a deer with it,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine, something like
You
that.
knock it right off its hoofs.
Yeah.
That's a free meal.
Oh, so you could smash his ribs as he's running by. He
Right.
ain't running too fast anymore.
Exactly.
So how often do you guys get to go out, like, to, like your backyard or whatever? How often do you guys put boots on?
We're out probably 3 or 4 times a week,
Yeah, at least.
right here. Right here, and then we do our rides that go to different spots. And we're out there 3 or 4 times a week.
At least 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
freaking awesome, man.
And,
That's freaking
and as
awesome.
soon as mud season's over, we're going to
Yeah.
be able to get into the spots that we always go to. So.
Yeah, right. That's the other thing. You got
Spend
to deal with
real
all that.
time.
Yeah, you got to deal with all that mud season. Hey, Sarah, thank you so much. By the way, I appreciate you so much. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. I truly do. No, I think that's awesome, and I think it's a great conversation to have. And as far as like these different things, and it's funny because they all kind of tie in. If you ask, like, one person asks about their diet, right, and then we go to Port Chatham, and all of a sudden the diet ties in with the Port Chatham story, and here we are having this conversation. It's all tied in with being carnivorous and all that. So
Right.
it's just crazy how
Exactly.
it's so connected. You know what I mean?
Well,
Any
that's
part of the story.
that's the good thing, is finding similarities, commonalities, and that's going to make it easier, because
Right.
if it's happening here and here and here and here, well, why waste time doing this if this is working? So
Right.
if I'm a new guy or I want to try it in a different area, I might try these methods that these guys are already using,
Right.
and and then deploy them over here. See if it works. Get the same result. Maybe, maybe not. But
Right.
you got to change it up and then find out whatever's working for you, or whatever you think is working for you.
Right.
Right.
No,
I
we
agree.
haven't got anything substantial
with
on our cameras or our track traps, anything.
Yep.
But it's like playing a lottery.
Right.
We're waiting.
Yeah, that's so Claude kind of he'll come in because I don't know anything about the Lovelock Cave Giants. So I'd have to do more research. I'll definitely check it out, Claude. I appreciate that. In Nevada, they found a bunch of what they call giant remains found in the Nevada cave. Now that might interest us, but like Tim said too, I think for me, I would feel they're two separate things. From the word Nevada. You know what I mean? That's just seriously, right? So I would just think that they were just two different things. I mean, can they be the same mindset? I don't know. Maybe they have a different diet because they're in Nevada. Nevada, I don't think Nevada's ever been documented as forestry, and I think what we're dealing with is something of the forest. You know what I mean? So that's how I feel about it.
I think the diet changes right across the country.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, it's just like us eating here. It changes when we go out there. So I mean, it's the same thing. I mean,
Availability, things like that.
yeah.
Yep.
I mean, you're just going to go with whatever is there at that precise time.
Yep.
So yeah,
Animals will
absolutely.
move down off of the mountain in bad weather, come down.
Yeah.
Your elk and things like that, all of a sudden are bothering the farmers because they're coming down off the mountain, coming out of public land into private land, things like that. So it's all chasing the food. It's all chasing
it's
the
constant.
food.
Yeah, it's constant, and it's like Jay's talking about being
Every day.
carnivorous. I don't think that for me, I don't feel anything of that size, and especially like in my area, for instance, you have a vast area. They could probably walk around eating plants all day and be vegetarians. You know what I mean? But I truly don't believe, in a sense, in my area, there's enough of that to sustain them. I think the waterways are important. I think the clamshells that I find, some of them, pulling them out of the river. I think some of the other animals that we find, like skulls or whatever. I think that is a mixture. I think it has to be for that in certain areas. That's just me. In certain areas, because you have so much of society where we don't have. I can't find 1,300 acres, bro. Nowhere. It's nowhere around me. It's nowhere near me, bro. You know what I mean? Like, 1,300 acres, though, I could eat berries forever and live, and you probably could never find my ass. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, heck, I put Woodstock in his backyard, make some phone calls, get some singers down there.
Yeah, sure. I'll do whatever it takes.
No, you have a moose
That's funny.
right here locally that'll grow, 6 feet high plus. It'll put on 1,200 pounds,
Yeah,
and
that's
it'll
crazy.
grow a rack every year and lose it every year. And they don't do, they don't chase down deer and eat it. They don't do any of that. They eat bark, buds, grasses, and things like that. And that's what sustains them. You got a good question down here. There was a minute ago about does Bigfoot have is it carnivorous? Bears are omnivores. They eat anything, meat and herbs. So it's from a herbivore, carnivore. In the middle, you got the omnivore, and it's going to eat everything in the trash can as well as the lid.
Yeah,
They're going to try to eat it all.
I mean,
If they come
let's
into
not
your
forget
house,
their size. I mean, they have to sustain all those calories, and
right? Yeah,
but
but even still, black bears' diet consists mostly of like insects and grasses. They're not putting down, like a coyote will sit there and chase down, gray squirrels and red squirrels, things like that. You don't see that so much. Bears running around trying to chase down that stuff. It's too much energy burnt. There's too many calories burnt. And if they're not getting the calories back, they're not going to produce, they're not going to be sustained. They're not going to sustain themselves.
Right.
So these things here eat tons of grasses, sedges, grasses, leaves, things like that. Ants. We were just talking to a couple of guys the other day. He said that he moved. It was bear scat, but it was so red he thought it was bleeding.
Yeah.
And this was something that happened last year. We were talking about just the other day, and it looked like blood, but it was red ants. And he ate so many ants that it turned, a blob of poop into what looked like a bloody, stained mess, and it was just all exoskeleton of ants. You're digging through the bear poop, and that's what it is. You can walk by the red poop and say, red poop. Or you can look at the red poop and see what's, going on and what caused it. And that's how you know. Simple as that.
Me and Richie found a tree. I mean, I know it's, the tree I'm talking about, Rich, that the bark was eaten from the very bottom, like 5 feet up.
Oh, yeah. And it had all the little bug holes in it. Remember the bug holes in it?
But all the chips were all square. I mean, it was just unusual. And then we saw that, like, I don't know, let's say like about 3 weeks later, the same tree was re-eaten again. It was just weird.
Yeah.
What size were the holes? What were they?
They look like little tiny bug holes. I couldn't see anything. I don't know if there was little slugs in the tree or something. You know what I mean? It's just an assumption. Like, I don't know if something was sucking something out of the hole to eat. You know what I mean? That's what I was kind of thinking. But it looked like little teeth mark was like ripped through this tree. It was really weird. And we don't see a lot of that.
Blood mark too on it.
Oh yeah, like they cut its gums or something.
Cut its gums or something.
Remember, I grabbed that piece and I put it in a container.
Yep.
Oh, so you think something was gnawing on it? Something was. Oh.
And it's the only one in the woods. There's no
only one.
It was weird, and I've been out. This is my area, and I've been on that property since 2002. Not once have I seen a tree like I would have taken a picture of it back then too. Like, what the hell is this? It was. I'll send you the picture.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah, send them. There should be 2 pictures.
Yeah.
The first one, there's no snow. The one with snow, but you can see the fray on the bottom of the tree. Me and him, we couldn't even figure it out. Like, why would they come to the same tree? Why?
And then I'm like, do they climb up there and like eat them?
Well,
it was little,
Turkeys will actually jump up and pull the bark apart. They'll scratch at the bark to try to get the bugs underneath.
Yeah, in the winter.
That's what I figured. Well, that's what I was thinking, but it looked like this thing had its mouth like buried into the tree.
Yeah.
And there
it's
were
like
little
a car, pretty much.
Yeah, little bug holes all over it. And I'm over here going, No, not
Could be.
porcupine, but I'm like, oh, maybe it's a raccoon. You know what I mean? And I'm looking, I'm like, why would he hold himself up there like that? You know, that would
But
be
Eric,
weird.
they were like, but they're like square. I mean, it's just like
Right.
square chips, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, a beaver couldn't. Like, I know a beaver, you know how beavers eat and everything. I could tell it by their markings, but this is not a beaver or anything like
So
that.
it's
It's
not
just
a
weird.
affiliated woodpecker or something.
No, yeah,
no.
it wasn't like,
Pile.
yeah, right. Yeah, I don't know. It was very strange. I don't know. We'll send it to you because you know that's
Oh, yeah.
you're the guy to ask that for me. You guys are because you're out in the wilderness and you know that. And that's I've reached out to Tim, like I said, a few times. That wasn't the only time I did.
Yeah,
but,
if you send a picture, we can check it out. Affiliated is going in because there's bugs in there, and it may get tired of it, or it may have gotten that bug, and it'll come back. We've watched trees. You know, this is time in the sea.
Oh,
We'll go
man.
out and see trees, and it's just starting. Oh, hey, look at affiliated starting, and now the darn thing's sitting there falling over because
All
it's
right.
been eaten, for over a year, and it's we've watched piles of looks like somebody took a chainsaw to this thing and just beech trees, whatever. And
Right.
it's just piles of chips basically
Yeah.
on the ground.
And they
And this
keep
thing is
coming
just
back to
pecking,
the
pecking,
same
pecking,
tree.
pecking, pecking. And they just
Yeah, they'll keep coming
Go through
until
the
it falls
forest.
over.
they'll go through the forest until it's done.
Barbara
But I
said
don't know
I
if
did.
that's the case for yours. I have
No.
to see it. But
Right.
affiliated, just a general quick identification is it's something that's dug out in the tree. It's a cavity that they're starting to drill out. And generally it's, rectangular. It's oblong.
And
It's kind of
and there
rectangular.
are piles and
Not
piles. on the
generally
bottom.
round. They're usually rectangular or some sort of, sometimes they connect and it's a giant, gap. And when you guys get out here, I'll show you, Rich.
Oh, I want to see this all.
We
That's
have
why
plenty.
I'm looking now. You got me going, man. I'm like, where's that
Yeah.
picture? I got this
So
picture.
you got to make a list of all the things you want to see, and we'll
Oh my
take it.
God. I know. Well, that's it. That's the good thing about, for me, being an investigator is about knowledge, and it's about grabbing knowledge and things I don't know, not being afraid, not having an ego, and being like, hey, dude, can you help me? I am an expert in power washing. I can power wash a house like nobody's business. I can restore shingle better than anybody in the world, I believe. I truly believe that. My pictures will prove that. But, if someone comes to me and asks me, they don't know. I'm gonna give them the knowledge. It's the same thing when I find a bed of branches and they're all kind of gnawed up and chewed up, and I don't know anything about this. Tim Vogel. Boom, boom. Hey, what's that? Oh, that's porcupine. Oh shit, I was holding porcupine poop, you mean? So anyway, so it's that's what it is. And by the way, with that area,
That's too
that
funny.
print was found like 40 feet from that area. Not only that, I got some pictures. It almost looks like there's ass cheeks sitting in the middle of that pine. Just so you know, there's 3 spots that we found pushed down. I'll send you that. And I started wondering, I go, man, I wonder if like Bigfoot would piggyback off of something like that. Again, an opportunistic, right, creature.
Yeah.
So, look, a bed already made for me, right? That's a nice spot to rest. There was cover overhead, right? They sit there. I'm telling you, it looked like ass cheeks. You could see that. Yeah, I really could. You could see the pine fresh as a daisy. And then you see the leaves in the middle, and almost like it's drawn out, leaves, middle, cheek, crack. You know what I mean? It was like, it was really, really strange. And then to find the print, we were walking back around, and I said, let's take this way. We haven't done this way yet. And I kept walking down. And I said, oh my God, look at that. I could see it from a mile away almost, the divot of the print. And there were other prints before it, but they were so rained out that they were flat, almost like filled in with like mud and stuff. But this one here was like, like I said, the heel, the arch, and I call it the toe splash, where the foot kind of come down and the feet open up a little bit. And because you can almost tell when it hits after it lands. Do you know what I'm saying?
Was there depth to it? Was there any depth to it, or?
Yeah, I have it on my Scaniverse. Yeah, so it was about. I would say it was about that deep. It
was a deep print.
I think it was 16 3/4 inches long. And approximately 8 inches wide at the toe.
I think it was like 8.5, 9.
Yeah, from toe to toe. No, you're getting the other one mixed up at my house.
I got you.
Yeah, no, we've got tracks that are 17 by 7 or 8 inch. A couple of them that are 7, 8 inches wide.
Yeah, and it was something else to see. And then I looked over and I said, "Where's the hut?" And he goes, "It's right there, dude." And I looked over and went, "Oh shit." and I called it a hut because it was like a shelter. Like you or I could go in there
Right.
and take shelter and you know, take on some elements, but not all of them. You know what I mean? So
Right.
opportunistic in a sense, you know. And it looked like there was 3 spots where like one sat down and leaned up against a tree.
Also, too, Tim, it's like when it's like green, you know, it's scattered around. But you know when something sits on there for a long period of time, the color fades,
Yeah.
and the leaves were on. You know, you can see like the leaves were actually on top of it. And that's what caught my eye. It was like it was just like perfectly butt cheeks. It just weird.
I got you.
It
Yeah.
was amazing butt cheeks.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
like
you
the leaves were wilted or something.
I'm sorry, what was that?
It was like wilted.
No, I think everything was.
The indentation.
Wilted. Dead.
No,
dying.
I thought it was removed. To me, it looked like it was removed. Like you sit down and there's green where you weren't.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a spread in a sense. I think I got it right here.
Got it. All right. Could that
Oh, yeah.
porcupine have been in there digging?
It didn't look like a dig mark. You know what
No,
I mean?
it wasn't a
I
big
got-
mouth. I know what
Yeah,
you're saying,
see,
though.
I got
Yeah.
a video of this. I'm gonna send to you right
I
now.
have the video too, but
Yeah, but you got a crappy Android, so
yeah.
Yeah, I know how that
shitbag
goes.
phone. Shitbag phone.
You promised not to shit on my phone.
Again.
Tickles again. I know. I do it a lot. You're right. I know. I should lay off that a little bit. You know.
But I mean,
Probably
so with the footprint, you know, where we found the footprint, believe it or not, I can't believe I passed it by like 30 yards. But anyways, because I saw the bed area supposedly by the porcupine, but just not too far. That's when we started seeing structures and what have you, like in that direction. So it's like, you know, it was just like very squatchy area. It was just, you know,
It was pretty weird, man. That area was pretty creepy. You could almost feel it. It was, as they say, palatable. It was like, oh, I'm in someone else's house. That type of
yeah,
feeling. You know?
exactly.
So
Yeah,
what's this?
yeah.
Did you say Bigfoot butt cheeks? Whoa, Joey.
You did.
Yeah.
Bigfoot
Twice.
arse, butt cheeks.
Bigfoot butt cheeks. Barbara Bertram made it here. Do you guys know Barbara?
Yes.
You know
Hello,
Barbara,
Barbara.
right? Yeah, she made it here. She says, I made it at 8:05. It's all right. I'm just glad you made it, Barbara. Good
Hello,
to see you.
Barbara.
Freaking awesome, man. Yeah, he did. He said Bigfoot butt cheeks. Listen, nowhere else will you hear that phrase except on Banter with Richie B. This is true investigating and research, ma'am. If you ain't seen a
That's
Bigfoot
right.
butt cheek in the ground, then you ain't living. All right, so I'm trying to send that video over to you, but the other video I'm going to send you is me What I did is I went back and reenacted as I was walking up because I have it on I think my GoPro died at that point. And I had my phone out. So it was too late in the investigation. So I was walking up and I saw it. I said, you know what, let me reenact that. So I kind of looped around, and I say that in the video. I just reenacted because I don't want anybody to think I was trying to pull one over on them. But as I'm walking up, it was same. I looked and you could see like the dark spot right there. I was like, and I was like about 10 to 15 feet away, and I noticed it. And I was like, oh shit. But it doesn't want to send anything. Of course. It's just internet, not the phone. Just so you know. Because an Android wouldn't send it either. An Android, you have to send it in like 8 pieces and make a puzzle like a kid. You know what I mean? It's true.
No, I think the latest, or not the latest, but the last thing that we saw as far as structures go was we had a floater down on the New York Connecticut line. This was a good. I don't know if we sent you a picture or not, but it was a floater, and it was probably 10, 15 feet long, maybe 8 inches around, and it was laying it was laying and suspended in the branches of saplings that were just a couple inches wide, little saplings, and there was no 8-inch trees, there was no branches, no overhead, no nothing. This thing was literally just suspended in the. Now, I don't get moved too much on structures and things like that. That's
I'm very surprised. I'm surprised I'm hearing this right now, actually. Go ahead. Keep going. I'm liking this, Tim. Go ahead.
It does take a bit to catch my attention, but there was nothing there that warranted this tree to be in that branch or in branches like that. and it was up, probably 10, I don't know, 8 to 10 feet high.
Yeah, about
In the top of a secondary canopy. It's shrubs, so it's up 10, 15 feet or so. And like I said, this thing is 8 to 10 inches around, and it's a dead, maybe an oak branch. We didn't actually go check it out yet, but
right.
the actual log, we're just taking pictures of it. We didn't get into the spot. It's actually on private property. So, I mean, but that was the latest thing that we saw. That was kind of intriguing, that involved, wood structures or any of that stuff, because, a lot of this stuff, will just happen naturally. I've seen a number of, posts where people are, this tree was bent over, and it's just bent, and it's not attached to anything. It's just completely bent. Well, I think we just sent pictures of an ice storm that we had here. And, you get 3/4 of an inch of ice on trees. I've got 12-inch trees that are bending over up here at 1,000 feet elevation, maybe a little higher now. Maybe the sun's taking it. 1,000 feet, 13, 14, 1,500 feet, 2,000 feet. There's all kinds of ice and we had a heck of a storm here this past weekend. And, if that melts off really quick, those 12-inch trees will rebound, and the sun will just bring them right back, and they'll be straight, and you'll never know what happened. But if there's a prolonged period, maybe this happened in the beginning of the winter, and that ice storm stayed, and then you got a long rain on or snow on top. Now they're there. They're there for a long time,
And they're
maybe
stay there.
a couple of months, and they're bent like that. So now they're going to start to they're growing, they're still, but it may take them longer to regain, or they may or may not regain. So
Yeah, we can show you where there's a couple of acres of birch that have been bent over for the last 3 years.
the branches are so interwoven, it's like a giant
Yeah,
dreadlock, I would imagine.
Yeah, they're just bent over, all locked together. They'll stay like that forever.
And so now you got the ground cover growing up through the branches and holding, prickers are coming up through, and that's going to hold the branches down. So these huge trees that are now bent over literally to the ground, and we're talking hundreds of trees, hundreds.
Yeah.
So in 10 or 15 years, maybe 20 years, I can imagine what the forest is going to look like there, and what people are going to say and guess and say, wow, what happened? But we've been privileged to see it from the onset to the get-go, and it hasn't changed. So weather plays a part, animals, there's a whole reason why it has to be exciting to me to catch my attention, because I see a lot of stuff over time, and you can see it actually build up and do weird things. It might take 5, 10, 15 years for that log to rot out. But, there's 10 or 15 logs on top of it all of a sudden, and then you got leaves and it looks like a little hut or, things like that. There's just so many, I don't know.
We've also seen some things that were questionable too.
Oh, yeah.
Whether it was done by Mother Nature or not, we have seen some things where you get. I know you had some stuff.
The bent stuff that you had. That was good stuff.
Yeah, bent over, interweaving between each other,
twisted logs.
Pretty interesting.
That'll get your attention.
So and that's the stuff. That's the stuff we try to look for now, is that interlocking, like weird ass patterns almost. You know what I mean? Some of them are almost thick but braided. Like I have that stuff that's crisscrossed and pulled up again, and I'm like,
well, when you find that stuff, that's where the investigation part comes in. You got to look for hairs and all kinds of things. If that's the case, and they're doing that, then they're all hairy. You would think that they're going to leave something behind it. So that being bent over is just like a big brush,
Right.
Also, too, Eric, is that I have a buddy of mine that lives down in Georgia, and he works for the forestry department out of Athens. And I showed him a bunch of pictures. And yes, the ice theory and everything, but this is before even winter started of the stuff that we saw. But the arches, the woven, everything like intertwining. He's never seen anything like that in his life, and like he was like blown away. He goes, "What's going on up in Massachusetts?" I'm like, "I don't know, man." He goes, "I'm out in the woods and I'm seeing it for myself. Hunting all my years, like all over New England, and I've never seen stuff like this before." And I get that, and I have seen, obviously there are like, trees that are like, limped over, from the snow and ice. And yes, once the warmer weather, it starts straightening itself out.
Right.
And but it's kind of good to do the research, and thank God that I used my resource of my friend there, and he's like, "I've never seen anything like it." He goes, "You got something going on up there."
Well, that's that particular hut setup. Now, we had sent it to you, and we sent it to Alex Petikoff, Dave McCullough, Mike Trainer, his friend that is basically a researches trees for a living, and everybody had the same thing. You know what I mean? And even Alex emphasized how he's not. I don't do structures, bro. I said, I already know that. I already know that, Alex. I already got that, man. That's fine. And I know there's less science in it, I guess is the way to put it. There's less science in it and more Mother Nature and explanation into those things.
Right.
Totally get it. But what's this, bro? He's like, I don't know.
Something's happening. Oh, it's just like the twisted stick.
I don't know. Yeah, he goes, right, the twisted stick, right? He goes, I don't know. I don't know what that is. But people do weird things, like build headdresses in the middle of the woods, right? So, you get that. But the point is, as a researcher, I asked 5-6 very, very, very experienced people, and they all came to the same conclusion. So as a researcher, that tells me I'm onto something. We're onto something. The Burks, Wojo, we're onto something. We found something. And not only that, if you watched Red Cryptid with Brian Terrell, Red Dirt Cryptid, he has that same hot setup. So there's a double setup. He has one, I have one, right? Let me see if I can pull that up, actually. You can bring that up if you want, Woj. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, it's just, like I said, just, and I understand and I value everyone's opinion, not into structures and what have you, but I've just never seen structures like, I've been out with Richie since November, but 3 different places I'm finding X's, and, you see 20-foot X's, 30-foot X's, it's just unbelievable.
Well, the thing about the X that I find is, all right, let's get one thing straight, too. Again, I don't have 1,300 acres. I know what my woods look like. You can't come and tell me when I come off my game trail and it opens up into the woods, I don't know what that looks like. I got pictures to prove you wrong because I've always taken pictures of the ever-changing forest of mine. So I don't have that. So when I walk up and I come out to the end and I'm going to go right, and all of a sudden I go, what in the is that? And there's a 40-foot X up there, and it's perfectly symmetrical in the middle. And now they're both standing up on 2 little peg trees. So that when you go to the top, this one gets broken and sits on top of the peg tree. It's a skinny little tree that's bare, no bark, right? Hardly any. And it's the top sitting there. And then there's another one going the other way. Right. And it's sitting on another peg tree. And not only that, no one ever noticed that, well, they were shitting on me. Not you guys, but other people on the internet. There's like a 20, 30-foot stick that goes straight across the middle of it, just dangling on little twigs. Yeah. And it's perfectly level. And I'm like, you didn't check that out either. Explain how Mother Nature did magic whirlwind. Here we go again. You know what I mean? So there was a
follow up too, Rich, is that me and Rich, all these like tree structures, whatever. We're not finding like any scuff marks on the barks on the tree that's on top of a tree. No dents, no scuff marks. These are the things that we're looking at also that. It just can't be explained. Like, how do you put objects like that and make it like art the way they do?
No, there's something to be said about it. I just have a hard time wrapping my head around it. I just don't understand it. So it's a different language yet. I just don't understand it. Some people seem to think that they can read it and tell you what it is. I'm not there. I wish I was. I'm just not there.
And I'm not there with the UFOs, so it's okay. You know what I mean? It's totally okay. And we all could be right, and you know what I mean? And we all could be wrong. And I totally get it. Now looking at these two though, Tim,
Oh, yeah.
which one's Oklahoma? Which one's Massachusetts? Do you remember the picture I sent you? This one is a 3D version of my picture.
Looks like the one on the bottom is Massachusetts. Or
Oklahoma.
is it? That's
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. Yeah. So look how similar it is.
Right. That's my point. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to put you on the spot, but I wanted to use your expertise because you know what the hell you're talking about. And both of you do. You're wildlife guides. You've been in the woods forever. And the bottom one is in Oklahoma. The top one is in Massachusetts, man. And they're not that far apart. They're not that far apart. And they're built kind of differently in a sense. One looks more narrow, kind of goes back more, whereas the one's open in the front a little bit more and you can lay sideways. So, but the bottom
takes
line
stuff
is,
like
go ahead, I'm sorry.
it takes stuff like this to sway an opinion, and you start to show more of it, and then you put a butt cheek or two in there. Well, something right now that's I only hear on the banter.
Let it out, kid. Let it out.
I think it's great. And I think it's great that you bring that up. And I appreciate you bringing that up because I'm a guy that's pushing this a little bit. I'm a guy that's kind of going in this direction. I'm a guy who's grabbing on to these things and dealing with the bullshit and the ridicule, unlike, not from legitimate researchers like yourself, from, couch potatoes, basically. You know what I mean? People that never wore boots.
That
That's
gives you
fine.
something to look into further than just looking or trying to get a whoop or a knock or something.
Right.
That gives you a whole nother avenue.
There's a physical dimension to it.
Right. Yeah. There's something there.
There's something there, and if you look at the bottom of these trees, they are like softly bent. They're softly bent. The ones in Massachusetts are more defined and a little bit more like the letter L as a sense. They have a nice little shape to them like a U, but some of them go whoop right across, almost in a loose 90, I'll call it. Whereas the one down in Oklahoma, it has that same bend, but it's more of a wraparound. And the beautiful part about this is, and I'm going to say this to everybody, if you look up your history books and you look at Native Americans, they all made different places to live. They all had mud huts, they had grass huts, they had teepees. They all had different things. They worked with what they had in front of them. And this is the point I'm trying to bring up because the Native Americans spoke so highly and so vividly about this creature. They spoke about him all the time. I'm sorry, I don't look at the Native Americans as liars. The people of today, liars. Native Americans, they had nothing to gain. They weren't going to get a bunch of beads awarded to them because they found something. Like in today's crappy ass world when you're talking money. You know what I mean? So they didn't have they didn't have anything to gain. Nothing. Yeah. They weren't like, oh, there's that guy that went and saw Sasquatch. No, it was a matter of a fact. It was a matter of a fact to them. They spoke of him like I'm speaking of you right now. Exactly. So when you start seeing this stuff, I start thinking like that. I'm like, you know what? Who taught who? Did they teach the Native Americans? Or the Native Americans teach them? Or did they work together and put something together? So I don't think this is I don't think it's a wrong lineage of research. I really don't. I think when I put things down and I walk away and I do this, I think that's where I feel wrong. You know what I mean? I have to go and look. And once I go and look, I have to explain it away. And once I explain it away, then we can move on.
There's other critters that make beds.
100%.
Like that. So it's totally 100% possible. If they can do it, then a Squatch could do it. I totally get that. It's just that, do they need to, or because you might be like a I don't know, maybe Yeti would have a cave. Mountaineering may have a cave of some sort. Maybe, but that doesn't mean it's got trees or something it's going to build. It's got to have some way to, survive from exposure, right? Absolutely. So I'm thinking they got really thick hides, like a buffalo elk or a bear.
Buffalo, yeah.
Buffalo stands out in the middle of a field at 50 below, 70 below.
Right. Yeah. And just drops. Yeah, he's good. You know what I mean? But
they're built for it. So, their temperatures can be higher, metabolisms can be higher, so they can take the wind and the cold. We had cows that were, standing out at 40 below when they would just be out in the barnyard. Just out there. They didn't care. They didn't need to come back in the barn, just stay warm or whatever. You know, they would come out if they wanted to, but an elk doesn't. None of these other critters do. So that's where I find it. The reality in my mind is some of these don't, some of these do. So
Right.
for me, it's where's it gauge on my interest level?
Right.
Well,
And,
what's the purpose for,
well,
Yeah,
I'll throw some at you. You tell me what you think, right? I'll throw some at you. Okay, so
Sure.
we have a juvenile. All right, I have a juvenile. I have a child. Basically, I'm a Bigfoot, right? I have a juvenile. A juvenile, it maybe doesn't have as much hair or is not as thick as I am, right? So I'm like, what do I do as a parent? I build my baby a bed. So I build my baby a little bit of shelter because they need a little bit more shelter because I have way thicker, more coarse hair where they're getting hair on their body, and I put them in something like this. Now that's just one of them, right? That's just
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I've built something, and I've built something and redirected the deer source in front of my little ambush hut, right? So that's the other thing. When we find things like this, we start looking for that funnel effect where we see these trees going like this. And I swear,
right.
and they're going, and you walk along that piece of tree, and there's deer scat all on the ground. I'm like, oh, it's working, because that ain't the same deer shitting 10 times on his way to his death. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's different deer shitting, on the way to the death. So I see that as well. So I see different things like that. So
And
I
we
start
found a
wondering.
deer shed.
Yeah, and we found a deer shed right in this area. So so I start to wonder: is this an ambush hut? Is there something that plays? Is it an old ambush hut? Do they even use it anymore? You know what I mean? I don't know. But the one directly behind it was about 11 feet tall. I got a video of me in it, and when you walk in, it was a twisted branch, almost exactly like you have in your evidence. You guys
Right.
have in your evidence. It was almost
Right.
exact. It was as if to say, "Whoop,
Yeah.
this one's mine. This one's mine." That's how I felt. It was like that. And you could go in there and stand, and it looks like bear, but then like bear isn't open. But you got to remember, they keep these things alive. They grow back.
Yeah.
So in the summer and spring, you're not even know what the hell this is. You're not even going to see it. The fact you're going to be able to find it is going to be very much more. It's going to be
Right. Yeah,
totally
it'll blend right in.
Yeah, I think it transforms it as well, and I think that's part of the plan. I think that's intentional.
Well, don't forget too, Rich, is that also some of in this one hut area, again, another area where they're pulling the pine trees from its knot, and you can see like a perfect pile. And they did some add-ons, like it's just like thrown on, and it was just like weird, like.
Mhm.
And then there was a stand-up hut, actually not too far away from this picture, that there was it was a big knot, but it had the 3 branches attached to it, and it was up and over on the overhead. When I stood underneath there, it was like well over like at least 6, 7 or something like of that height.
Yep.
And why would you have that like right near there, just standing there, and you could see you got water source right behind there. And you also have, I mean, I'm talking highways of deer tracks. I've never seen so many deer tracks at the Burke's place. It's just phenomenal.
Yeah, no, it's pretty crazy. And Sarah asked me a question. Sarah, this is a private property. But if you go out to like say northwestern type Mass, even north central, up in that top kind of corridor, of basically middle to left side of Massachusetts, you'll find a lot of terrain out there to look at and check out. So yeah, if you want to do some investigating, that's a great area to do it. You know what I mean? Definitely check out your maps, people. If you're going to go out and investigate, check out your maps, and the other thing is, be safe. Don't go out there just thinking you're going for a half-hour jaunt, because you don't know where it's going to lead you, man. Always,
dude, that's a whole nother program.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That brings you up to, we used to do seminars at these, Amy Boo is out doing them now. She
Right.
does,
All the sportsman
shows, things like
yep.
that, talking Squatch. We used to do that with our adventure education business, and it ended up talking Squatch anyways. But there's people out there doing that. Yep.
Yeah. No, I say it a lot on my show. I emphasize that because I think
always
first
take
of all,
safety.
always safety, right? But first of all, I want to thank Tim for bringing up structures tonight. Huh? I want to thank Tim for that, because I didn't think we'd end up there tonight. I think that's awesome and open-minded, and I love it.
Absolutely.
I think if you're researching, Jay, active in warmer weather, Also, is it easy to find evidence in summer or winter? What do you think?
I'm going to go with June. We talked about patterns earlier.
Yeah, June,
Mhm.
June the fall.
Yeah, Jason, we think our summer to the fall is our area where we have most reports, more sightings, things like that. And we equate it to the harvest season. It's
Right.
simple as that. There's plenty of, farms in
Plenty
Western
of
Mass to provide as extra, not just what the wilderness or the woods have, but this would be an extra. So in the fall, just like a bear,
Easy.
I think a Bigfoot would more or less hibernate similar to a bear up here where it's cold.
Here in New England, at least.
Simply because it takes energy, and bears don't expend that energy, and they do, very similar diets, I think. So I think a Bigfoot potentially can get in and bed down or den or hibernate for short periods. So I think in the winter, probably not so much, only because history has shown we don't have a lot of tracks and things like that.
Right.
We
Yeah.
The amount of people that are using the woods now during the winter, you don't have anybody finding any tracks
There's
around here, at least.
years
Oh, I
ago,
see what you mean. Yeah. That's a good point.
You know, I mean, if you found a print, you'd have a lot of prints, and you
Yeah.
could literally follow the print.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they
And-
have.
and-
Yeah.
we were talking earlier on recreation and how it's a multi-billion dollar, endeavor. And there's a lot of users out in the woods, as there used to be like 60s, 70s, it's kind of, you had some hunters and some people that were running out there, but not like the access they have now with the snowshoes, the bikes, the motorcycles, the
Oh, yeah,
snowmobiles, the
bikes now.
Jeeps, the trails, everything.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of access, and there's more
And
people
you
out
got
there.
you got them flying the drones now and everything else.
Oh,
So,
yeah. Yep, you're right.
There's a ton of people out there now.
No, I think a lot of that again goes with territory. I think it goes geographically. I really do. I think they
Exactly.
behave differently in different areas. Like my area, which is funny because I have activity and matter of fact, let's see, incidences that I've documented from September to March, right through the winter. It gets a little quieter at certain months, I've noticed. You know what I mean? Like March, it starts to get really quiet, like towards the end of March. And then I think January's kind of a little bit more quiet, which would probably be a colder month. Maybe they kind of hide out a little bit more. But I've had activity documented, whether it was, a sound or break, crunches, knocks, whatever it might be from September. And I've looked at it and go, damn, that was in October when I really started research. And that was the first thing I had to do was take my evidence and kind of, categorize it so I could tell what was happening and when it was happening. Because people say, oh, when's that usually happen there? And I'm like, sometimes. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. You know what I mean? But seriously,
exactly.
when you get up to that researcher level, you start going, oh, I got to start categorizing this scientifically so I could try to figure out what the hell's going on here and when. So I've had stuff dead in the middle of June as well. I'm just saying these are the most active times that I've dealt with. Now that could come with the waterway being just a mile away from my property, a major river. Plenty of food source there in the winter if you wake up and you want to get a bite to eat, right? And again, it's a bottleneck area. So you don't have the luxury of packing up. And when we found that huge peat moss circle, looked like pardon me, people, but diarrhea mixed in with peat moss that we sent off to have it analyzed. And it was like the fuzzy peat moss. And we know someone brought up like bears do that to insulate their bellies or whatever that might be if they don't have enough food for the winter or however it works.
Yeah.
There was just so much of this that it was too strange, right? But if you think about it, if there's a creature out there doing that, like we're talking about, right? They're grabbing what they can. And that's what they, my area is smaller, so they're grabbing what they can. You might not have a big pile of, fuzzy,
exactly.
peat moss diarrhea because they don't need it. They don't need it. It sustains a 1,200-pound moose. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Hey,
We
and
don't have that.
these things can have diarrhea, As simple as that. I've seen
Every animal out there does.
I've seen bears after blueberry, a day in the blueberries,
Yeah.
and it's just
Oh, that'll
blueberry
get you.
squirts all
Yeah.
the way down the trail. It's just
Oh,
literally.
Well, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. Here on Banter with Richie B, we talk about Bigfoot, butt cheeks, diarrhea, blueberry beer shit. Come on by anytime and hang out with us.
Bear squirts.
Yeah, but
So
they all
something-
do.
Yeah, something says a pretty cool way of saying it. And I'll probably chime out of my show on this kind of. I think too many people want to convince themselves that the Squatch is a simple animal, rather than the Squatch is an intelligent being that is trying to convince us that they are a simple animal.
It's very
I-
possible.
Yeah.
We
I
talk
think
about the woo with them, and there's
Yeah.
a lot of guys that don't like to talk about the woo factor.
Right.
But that's kind of what you're talking about. Why do we have only a couple of tracks? Why do we not have longer trackways? Why does a dozen people have an interaction with this thing in various ways, and you only get a couple of tracks out of it?
Right.
Does it turn into this orb thing? Who the heck knows? All I can tell you is what I've experienced.
A lot of unanswered questions.
Right.
You talk about this orb stuff. That's it's a whole different ball of wax, but it's there,
It happens.
and it's happened right then, just before or after,
Right.
with the Bigfoot.
Right.
Literally.
So
there's,
I
take
totally
it
get
for what
this.
it's worth.
It is worth something, because I'm going to tell you, I have an experience, and I've shared it before, and I still can't grasp my head. I can't wrap my head around it. And my daughter is here tonight. She's now 20 years old. She was much younger then, and we walked out to the backyard, and very rarely after I discovered something with thumbs was playing around out in the woods. I brought just her out there. Yeah, at the end of the game trail, like 50 feet beyond the game trail, there's a double birch tree like this, and there's a stick perfectly level. Again, these are in my pictures. You can look at them in my evidence. Wojo's seen this very stick that I'm talking about, and it's kind of like, we live here. Do you know what I mean? That's where I took it. So on that, there's a like, it goes up on a clump of roots and moss and stuff, mounds, right? And she's over here and I'm over here, and I'm just staring off into the woods, and it was a full plush season. So it was like just after spring going into summer.
Oh, yeah.
So underneath this stick is a trail underneath these like old rhododendron like trees that you can kind of slide through, and then you're out in the woods. So we're standing right there at the opening, and I'm hearing something, man. I'm hearing something come at me. It's big. It's moving very fast. There's not one tree break. And it's just right. And I said, I'm a paranormal investigator first, right? I got goosebumps in my hair standing up. I'm a paranormal investigator, so I come from that field where I look over to validate what I'm experiencing without leading the person next to me. And I said to my daughter, who was at the time was about 15, Riley, what are you experiencing right now? And I can still hear it. It's coming out. I can't see it. There ain't no tree break, no nothing. So I'm not even like thinking it's right there and I need to run now. I can still just hear it. She goes, I hear something very big coming at me, but I can't see it. And I said, time to go. I said, I go hit the game trail and let's get the hell out of here. Yeah. So I've experienced what I would deem as a cloaking, and I can't wrap my head around that.
Yeah, it's hard.
I refuse to. I kept going, no, it must have been somewhere where there were no branches that it could break.
And you were escorted out.
I was. Oh,
yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it worked.
He was coming right at you, telling you to get out.
Yeah, he wanted me to go wherever it was, or however it was. It was one of the most bizarre things I've ever experienced, besides hearing that talking with Dave McCullough and the other investigator. Man. Yeah, that one where they went, oh, yeah. I heard it 75 feet from me, man. Ain't no joke. Ain't no joke. I heard it 100% live. And I look over at Dave and I go, and his jaw's down here, and I go, that's the Sierra Sounds, ain't it, bro? And I go, that's what that is.
Yeah, it's like the samurai talk.
The samurai talk from the Sierra Sounds. I shouldn't say the whole Sierra Sounds. I have been miswording that, or phrasing it. And when it got done, the second time around, when it got done, there was a knock sound, whether it was on the chest, whether it was, I don't believe they have the perfect stick in their hand at all times. I'm not buying that. You know what I mean? But,
yeah, right.
Like that. And then the other one went off and was like, oh, no, who that?
Yeah.
Like, and he was the boss. And I could tell that motherfucker was the boss, right? And then he got done, and then he got done and was like that. And Dave goes, I think it's time for us to go. And I said, I don't know. I thought it was time to go when he went, you know what I mean? Never mind the rest of it. But you stood there and like I'm reaching for my phone, like I get this motherfucker recorded.
Yeah, right.
We had put everything away. It's like they literally watched us put our shit in our backpack and zip it up. I put it on my back. So all my shit's in my backpack, but my phone's in the middle right here in my hoodie. And I'm like ready to turn around. But I'm going like this. I'm reaching. I'm going, oh, what? First of all, I was thinking, what if it stops? That would suck. Because then I wouldn't even have a personal experience, right?
Right.
And then I'm like, I have so much connection with these creatures because I've been dealing with them for so long. I almost felt like I was betraying them if I pulled that out with like, you know what I mean? Like I felt bad. It was so weird. And then the other thing that went through my head, this is all as I'm hearing it, I'm going, I got to get my phone out. I get my phone out. I'm thinking, what if it runs at me? Like it freaking kills us because it knows, am I reaching for a gun? You know how they feel about guns. There's some bad stories about supposed Sasquatch encounters with weapons. It doesn't go well for the weapon. That's what I'm saying. So all these things went through my head. But it turned out to be a beautiful, amazing personal experience. I've gained nothing for it. Nobody's giving me money for my story. You know what I mean? I'm not here because of that story. You know what I mean? I'm here because of a multitude of situations that I've been in and I've been gifted to be in. You know what I mean? And to have that happen to me was like, to me, it was almost, I want a sighting, yes. But I want a sighting like from here to here. I want a sighting. And I don't know if that's so safe. You know what I mean? I don't want the I'll be like, yo, bro, get on, come here, bro. Hey,
Yeah.
It's me, Richie.
Yeah.
It's me, Richie B.
Give him a bottle of scope while you're at it too.
You want to be on my, I'll be the first one to get Bigfoot on my podcast. Trust me.
Yeah, we're always looking for that better view.
But
yeah,
I
you know what?
personally want a better view.
No, I know, and I know your story, and you shared it before, and I get it. You know what I mean? And I'm the same way in a sense.
Yeah.
But to have what we experienced right there was so amazing because they walked us out.
Yeah.
They did things that we researched that we still think is theory. A lot of people, that don't get to experience that.
Right.
The knock sound, which is infamous. You knew it wasn't wood, but it sounded just like that knock sound. How much did I learn right there, right? And then to hear them intelligently communicate, like, "Yo, man, these motherfuckers are leaving." You know what I mean? Like, we did it. I'm glad you did it. You did a good job. Yeah, I did a good job, Dad. Yeah, you did a good job. You know what I mean? Like it was almost like one was being rewarded for. It was crazy. It was to me, it was almost when I got out to the yard. I turned around in my yard. I got to the other side. I know I'm all fired up now, right? I got to the other side of the yard and I turned around to the fence and I said, "Thank you guys. Thank you so much for that. Thank you. I'm sorry. We didn't mean to, bother you or disturb you, blah, blah, blah." And Dave's just standing there looking at me like I'm, 3/4 fucked. And I'm like, and then I stop, I turn around, I'm smiling. I was like, "Wow, that was friggin' awesome." And he goes, "You know why they're here?" I said, "Why?" He goes, "Because of you, man. As much as you feel connected to them, they feel connected to you."
Very
and
possible.
I said, "Whoa, man, you've been smoking a lot of weed today, bro."
So, Tim and Eric, have you guys experienced a lot of vocalizations or whistles, anything out in the woods?
Yes. Yeah, we've had whistles, knocks, the whole gamut. I don't know about rock clacking. I don't think I've heard rock clacking. But we've heard quite a bit, all the typical ones that
we're not sure about the rock clacking because our juveniles could have been doing that to us too.
Possible.
Because we did hear something like that, so it's hard to tell.
It is.
But we've had the whistles.
Vocalizations, not so much. We've had 3 vocalizations, meaning roars or screams.
Yeah.
New York in 2013, 2016 was Savoy up going back to do the tracks as we went in the second day to cast the tracks.
Right.
That thing was on the top of the mountain yelling and screaming at us like, "Hey, get out."
And it was even even from the height and the distance that thing was away, it was that loud that you could really, you knew what it was. You knew it. You weren't supposed to be there. It was letting
Yeah.
them know
Yes.
that you weren't
Picked it up,
supposed
yeah.
to be.
Yeah, it was,
You know, because we were already in there and it never happened. It was when we went back in the second time, you know, and it was like, you know, if they thought we were leaving, but we turned around and went back in.
Yeah. They didn't like
And
that.
it was a definite yell. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
yeah.
And
So there's-
when you heard it yell, was it a one-tone projection?
No, it was
No, it was,
roar. It
Yeah.
was
So
vocally
it climbed up like
up and
whoa.
down.
oh yeah.
Because
Yeah,
Wojo does it.
kinda.
Wojo does a
Almost.
yell. Wojo, do your Bigfoot yell.
Yeah.
No, do your big.
Oh, man.
No, it's cool. This was it was
I can't. I don't want to do it. I got my
No,
roommate downstairs. He's probably going, "What the hell's going on up here?"
911
Yeah.
shortly. Be
No,
knocking on your door.
The yell that was a, you know, we would say a belly yell.
Guttural.
Yeah,
Right,
from
guttural,
the-
yeah.
And then you knew what it was. I mean, it was the only thing out there.
It was roaring, yelling,
Like, well, I mean,
kind of sound.
Yeah.
And so, anyways, it was, that for vocalizations.
Yeah. That and our New York incident,
Right.
which was really insane.
And then we had whistles. One whistle in particular that stood out, which really is another interesting thing, is the whistle we had in Connecticut, and that was where it sounded like a police car for 4 or 5 seconds. At
On
that
top
level.
of the mountain.
Yeah, it was on top of a mountain, a wooded mountain, no roads, no nothing. This was no pot. There's no cop car. It was just whatever it was up there making a noise, like what? 4 or 5 seconds, super loud, like a cop car.
It
Wow.
was unbelievable. And
Yeah,
they
that-
just came down off the mountain, so they know there was nothing up
Yeah, there was a group of 35 kids up there doing prayer. They had Bible study, and then they came down. We were doing a ropes course, challenge course up in the woods. And long story short, we ended up with this whistle. But so
Probably one of the best whistles we've ever had.
it was incredible.
To be that loud for that length of
Right.
time, just
Right.
on, hear it, and then off.
Right. That
Yeah.
night, that kind of mixed in with owls and coyotes.
Yep.
yeah, yeah.
Very,
Oh,
very loud, very excited. I would describe that as the environment was excited that night.
It was very
Lots
excited.
of vocalizations in the woods, overkill, like wow, like the owls fighting territorial back and forth, like a half a dozen owls in one area going back and
Yeah.
forth. And they weren't just doing,
And it was all a
They were
lot
just
closer than
screaming
normal.
at each other. Coyotes going off. And then we had, that morning, a rock when we were leaving thrown at us. And it came through a tree, and we could hear the thing coming through the trees, and it's candlepin sized rock. And
Jesus.
and then we left after that. But we've had
We've had
Mounts.
rocks. We've been out fishing and have
October Mountain.
we've had rocks thrown
Yep.
in our direction while we were fishing.
Yeah.
And you could tell that it's a big rock by the way. When you throw a rock into the water and it hits, you can hear it kind of
The whoosh,
suck
yeah.
in.
Yeah,
And you could tell how big a rock is by
Yeah,
the sound.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
We've had 2 big ones drop into the water where we were. It's kind of, it's all rock, I mean, it's boulders.
Yeah.
So when it threw this out there, you really could hear it. I mean, you hear it, it would just suck it right in and then whoop, come
Yeah.
right up.
Yeah, a beaver.
And
A
it
beaver
wasn't a beaver
slap
slap.
is a beaver slap.
Yeah, beaver.
Wow,
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
I've heard beaver before. Yep.
Yeah.
Rock comes in the water, it
Yep.
displaces, and it's a kaboom.
And it's not a little rock. This
Yeah.
is a rock. I mean, this
Yeah.
is something that's
Like
really
a whoosh, like yeah.
huge,
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Big splash.
So we've had them, 2 or 3 times. We've had that happen to us.
October Mountain.
Yep.
I tell you what, man, it's I got to get out there with you guys, and there's different types of
Oh.
activity. You know what I mean? Like I got to go. Thursday is supposed to rain again, believe it or not. So I'm off work. So my whole day is going to be dealing with these little scan disc things. So in my computer, because I have my GoPro stuff I gotta go over. And I was on an investigation with a gentleman down the street, actually, exploring with Phil, by the way. Check out his YouTube as well. He's got some cool shit. I replayed it, and there was a knock way off behind us out in the Bridgewater Triangle in the Hockomock Swamp, and we didn't hear it. No one even acknowledged it, and you could hear it as plain as day. Boom, and I was like, "What the?" And now he and I have had the last time we were out, like we were talking earlier behind backstage. I was doing a with a bird, and then all of a sudden it was just like he projected out of nowhere. The whistle got projected at me, and then the bird made a sound, but the bird was way off over here in the sky now. And I'm like, wait, if that was him just whistling, how's he over here? So the one I was doing rhythmic with, like, was up here instantly. I thought it was still him here, but it came out. The whistle across the way came out like it was projected, like thrown right at me. And I was like, wait, that didn't sound like the bird. And then the bird made a noise up over here. And I'm like, well, there's no way the bird got there.
Yeah, it was like that. It was like one of those, like, you know.
Yeah, somebody was calling you, like, come here, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, Wojo, go over there. Somebody's calling you.
Just like we were talking about backstage.
Yeah, right. It's crazy. It was totally weird. And so, anyways, my point is, I'm looking forward to replaying that, because I swear I could almost hear the difference in an animal with their little lungs and potentially something with bigger lungs. I thought at first, and Wojo agreed with this afterwards. I mean, he said it. I said it too in my head. I'm going, someone over there fucking with me.
Yeah.
Like, I thought somebody was across the water, like messing with me.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We had a hunter here.
Well, having the parabol, I mean, I just kept going back and looking at you and looking at him just back and forth. But it was like, you know, I keyed on that one direction, and it was just like a banter going on with whistles. And then all of a sudden, that's when the birds started like whistling back. Now, I mean, like totally, but it's a different tone, obviously, with the birds.
Yeah,
the blue jays, the crows.
You could hear the difference. And
never heard her. Yeah, just never heard that specific tone of the whistle again.
Yeah, and if you think about it, if somebody's messing with you, you know, we're not little men. You know what I mean? So the dude's over there taking, you know, he don't know us like we don't know him, right? Why would you want to do that? You look over and see two dudes out in the woods looking like, you know, with all this gear on and shit. You're gonna start effing with them,
right?
You know what I mean?
I had that. Yeah, I had that same thing happen at 2:00 in the morning, during an expedition that we were doing, and it was like, just like you said, the whistle was almost like it was pushed at us. It was that loud, that crisp, that clear, that loud.
Yeah, and you could almost hear the break in it when a human does it, like the little break. It was like that little extra. I don't know. It was like the lungs were too big and it pushed it too hard. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't. That's the only way I could figure it. It was bizarre. So I can't wait to look into that. I'm going to look at that piece of evidence. But listen, we have had it. We've had a kick-ass show. I could talk to you dudes all night, man. I cannot wait to get to New Hampshire and sit by a fire with you. If that's not
gonna be great.
It's gonna be freaking kick. I can't wait for the lady to tell me to keep it down. It's gonna be amazing. just bank on that shit. If you haven't been to a family cookout with me, I'm the guy. All right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm the guy. Tell that dude to shut up. He's so obnoxious. What is this parabol? A parabol is a parabol microphone. It's the one with the little microphone in the middle. It looks like there's a dish behind it. Because that's what it is, basically, is a dish. I saw a gentleman when I first started investigating. He took an EVP recorder that you use out ghost hunting. They have a little screw in the bottom of them, and he put a selfie. He put a selfie stick on it, right, so you could hold it up. But then he melted a hole in an old Tupperware bowl, and he painted it camouflage. And then he put the selfie stick in there and screwed the EVP recorder in. And he made himself a parabolic and went around the woods. He's still around somewhere. He has documentaries and something on YouTube, actually. And he has that damn parabolic microphone made out of a freaking Tupperware thing. As
long as it works.
I tell you, I'm looking at it going, this is freaking genius. I love it.
But I like Eric's idea, though. Get that the whistle or whatever you call it for your ear, for an earpiece, you know.
Well, no, I
will get that for you. I'll send it to.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. I really appreciate you guys' knowledge, and you know, it's great to pick up a few tips going out there, especially
animal calls, bro.
On both sides.
Yeah.
Animal calls.
Yes.
We gotta do animal calls, bro.
Mm.
We're gonna put you in. We're gonna put you in that hula skirt and show them your Bigfoot butt cheeks, and then we'll do we'll do an animal call. It goes, hey, take us out with your other hat that you bought in the merch store. Show everybody you the new merch.
Oh, this bad Larry.
No, the other one. The other one. There we go. There we go.
There you go.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna put horns on this thing too. Hey,
Listen, man, I got to tell you, this has been so enlightening, man. I appreciate all the different angles of this conversation with you guys. I appreciate you being open-minded enough a little bit, and thank you for coming over to my little structure world. I appreciate that too. I think that's huge. We are going to see you up at the Charm and Fair Farm in Candia, New Hampshire, my friends.
Absolutely.
I want to have you guys back on again to kind of find out what you've been up to, and we kind of went everywhere. We didn't get to your recent adventures, but that's okay. You know why? Because you guys have a lot of video to go through. You got to make sure you got to look at all your stuff because you guys have been everywhere. So listen, where can they find you if they want to check your stuff out? Anybody want to let them know?
Find us on the Vogel Brothers Facebook page. Just go there, smash the like button, and you'll stay in touch. We've got something coming up April 5th up at the Beckett Country Store. It's sitting down talking Squatch with the local people. We're putting out feelers, looking. We put out cards and everywhere, and here we're going to have a local event where you come up, buy a sandwich, and tell us what was weird on your property, or did you have an experience or this or that. We're going to share some of our stuff, and hopefully we get some information back out of it. Kind of like a mini town hall at the country store.
Yeah, I think that's brilliant. I love it. I think it's something I would love to have around here, but unfortunately, I live in an area where it's not so nice when it comes to this stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah, what are you gonna?
Richie, they have sandwiches.
They have sandwiches, Richie.
April 5th, bro.
April 5th.
April 5th. I mean, what are we gonna do? Have a sit down? We're gonna have a town hall at the 7-Eleven. You know what I mean?
You go there and you get they'll make a banter with Richie roast beef.
There you go.
There you go.
And maybe a breakfast with some Wojo waffles. You never know.
Yes.
Never know.
Never know.
Where you guys are located. They're out Western Mass, right?
We're right, Western Mass, out in Russell.
Way Western Mass.
Yep.
Again, hey, real quick before we go, Russell, Massachusetts. I did my genealogy and found out that my great-grandparents were married in that town. They lived in that town, and their firstborn son, who's my grandfather, became Russell. And then my father became Russell Jr., and now my brother's Russell III. And guess what? Guess what their middle name is? Vernon. Do you know a Vernon out there?
Yeah.
There's a Vernon close by somewhere in there where he worked. I don't know. He was somewhere, but it was totally weird. I'm telling you. So it was a whole thing that we found out. So I gotta come out to Russell anyways because I have history there. I gotta find out what's going on. You know what I mean?
That's it.
I do.
Come on out.
I'm telling you,
Richie's got his own town.
How far away is it from here? Hurry up! I gotta go. Is that my
We're an hour and a half.
What? 4.5?
Hour and a half, 2 hours.
Yeah, we're an hour out of Worcester anyway.
Oh, what did you say? An hour and a half, 2 hours from me?
Worcester?
Yeah. Dude, what are you doing April 5th? What the hell? I'm thinking they're out in freaking Kathmandu.
Yeah, you're only about 2 hours out.
That's not bad. 2 hours, and I drive like an asshole. We'll be there an hour 45.
Oh, there you go.
Hey, Nicole, what's happening? I got to get a hold of you. You got to get on my show,
Go with them. Come on out.
Well, I'll definitely go with him, but I'm driving because the way he drives, oh my God. I never seen a vehicle that drives on two wheels. It's like, Richie, what are you doing?
Dude,
and real quick, when we were out in Western Mass, Richie was driving, but Richie's like looking at his Waze. I go, Richie, it says road closed. Stop! I thought we'd go right to the wall.
I mean, I didn't put the freaking wall there. Don't pull your shit with me. It wasn't my fault.
Oh yeah, he gets all like snippy and everything. Who puts a freaking wall here? Look at that. They only spray painted road closed. They spelled road wrong. Roads.
Hey, but why didn't they put something at the end of the road telling me that? Why did they just all of a sudden, hey, stupid, you're new here. Look at this. You know what I mean? That's not fair.
Yeah.
That's not a fair assessment.
Maybe they should have a fishing line with some flares. So if you hit it, boom, then you stop, right?
Wait till we get the 86 Mustang with the top down this summer, bro. Then you'll see some driving.
I'll tell you, I'll take you up on that offer, boys. I'd definitely love to visit you guys and check out your area.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
I'll buy some sandwiches for you.
I drive like a masshole. Yes, I do sometimes. You got to know when and when not to. Nicole, thanks for stopping by. We're going to close up shop, but I'm going to reach out to you because we got to get a date together as far as scheduling when my friend here, Nicole's coming on my show, my paranormal show. It's going to be pretty kick-ass. I want to thank the Vogel brothers for being here, okay? Because that was a kick-ass show with a ton of knowledge, man. If your brain didn't go... then I don't know what the hell I was going to make it, because we were everywhere. It was a great topic, great flow. I love you guys on the side. I love you guys. The guys on the side, their questions, the ladies on the side, their questions are amazing. Yep. I just have a great bunch of people around me. I'm truly grateful. Wojo, thank you for being my very first co-host.
Thank you.
I'm really glad that you came on, and I just love it. I think it's a great thing, and I'm going to do that again. So you might be my co-host. Right? Imagine that. You might be my co-host. I'm going to reach out to one of you. Somebody's going to be my co-host, and then I'm going to take a fan Bigfoot, which is J. Lou. That's one of them, right? Who's the other one? Hailstone.
Good.
Hailstone and J. Lou are the next Bigfoot with a fan. All right, and then Jay Hughes is Sasquatch with a skeptic. I got all kinds of shit going on. You guys have climbed into my ADD riddled brain.
Oh yeah.
Whether you like it or not, this is what we're doing.
Banter with Bigfoot butt cheeks.
It's crazy. I got video games to play. So listen, you're going to go follow me on TikTok, Banter with Richie B, Instagram, Banter with Richie B, and then you're going to go over to freaking YouTube. Listen, I got a Facebook too, by the way, Banter Richie B, but you're going to go to YouTube and you're going to like and subscribe. And anybody in your house, you're going to take their little finger and make them subscribe. You understand? Let's get those numbers up and have some fun. Go check out my content. Keep an eye on the Vogel brothers, man. Come up to Candy, New Hampshire and hang with us. It's going to be an absolute kick-ass time and a moment I'm sure I'll never forget. And come out to Colorado, Bree says. I'll come out to Colorado. I'll drive so fast and crazy, we'll all go to jail. Let's go. I'm ready to go. I'm fired up. I'm fired up. Anyway, thank you for being with me, gentlemen. Wojo, thank you for a kick-ass job. Everybody, check out, I think it's Ghostbox tonight, 11, on the Get Haunted Network. Stay tuned for that. If you're up late, you can listen to a nice podcast, watch a nice podcast, and then check out all the paranormal family that I have, and a bunch of them are into the cryptids as well. The Ernie and Janice Pack, they're into cryptids too. So make sure you follow us. We're climbing. We're getting bigger and bigger because we are Get Haunted. So stick with us. All right. Thank you very much, everybody. Good night.
Buy the merch.
Buy the merch.